Hello, my name's Andy Law. Welcome to my living room where we gather every week to play LAWhammer. Oh, everyone's really on the ball today. I see you're all going, yay! You're completely lost in there. You may know
It's not a yay moment.
It's not a yay moment. There's a real
good moment. Watch us.
Yeah, there's somewhat of a somber feeling inside the room today, largely because at the end of last episode, things might have ended on a little bit of a downer. And it was all because Ed wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It's the whole episode.
Yeah, the whole
episode's downer.
Yeah, complete downer. No Ed. Now, I'm going to start with something slightly different because you may remember some time ago that I discussed that if we go on to our next campaign, we'll be playing The Paths of the Old Ones, which is a campaign that Gav Thorpe and I built to be a sequel to The Enemy Within. It takes basically everything that happened to The Enemy Within, goes, well, that was a thing, and here's something completely different in a completely different way. Now, you may or may not be aware of this, but we didn't actually write that campaign. We did between ourselves, but we didn't write the whole entire thing out because I left as producer of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and it just petered out into nothing. But the question is, what did Gav do instead? I have an answer for you. Because Gav, being Gav Thorpe, if you don't know Gav Thorpe, he is a writer of many a bajillion wonderful things, including more books for Warhammer and 40k than you can shake a stick at, and many a computer game also. Oh yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, indeed. Nicely done. And Gav has been working on a completely different game called Xeogenesis. Now, I'm bringing this up because I might have also been involved with Xeogenesis, so I think you should all take a look at it. Why do I think you should take a look at it? Because if you like miniature battle games, like me, then it's not only a fun example of one, but it's also been designed by someone that you might be aware of, particularly if you like... I get to mention it! Dark Deeds! Because Dark Deeds was designed by Andy Chambers. Xeogenesis was designed by Andy Chambers. If you don't know who Andy Chambers is, have you ever read Warhammer? Have you ever read 40k? Because he designed more than one edition, more than one codex, more than one army list of Warhammer and 40k, and also Xeogenesis. I've played it in Andy's house with Andy, and it was great. I even have a miniature right here. Look. Yeah. I painted it myself. How rare is that? Anyone who knows me knows how rare that is. I almost never do. So the reason I bring it up is because Xeogenesis is available to back right now over on GameFound. There is probably by this time possibly even an advert scrolling down in the corner. I'm looking over there to see if it's happening. It's probably a Dark Deeds one just now. Yeah, it's a Dark Deeds one just now. But it's out on GameFound right now. You can go over and check it out. If you like your miniature battle games, I recommend it. It's super fast. I'd say that its biggest benefits is I'm very used to playing 40k and Warhammer games, which is kind of turnabout. This one's a much more kinetic, faster game, where not only are you individually activating units and moving them against each other, but those units can also be activated in response to other units doing things to them, meaning that they're diving behind cover, giant, huge mech suits, moving at speed. It's super fun. So, yes, Xeogenesis, go check it out. As soon as they send me more stuff, I'll probably bring up a box and say, look at this. And I'd just like to finish by saying, I'm not the only one in this room that has something to do with Xeogenesis. In fact, it's a bit of a LAWhammer fest. 3 of us in here have been involved with this game. One of them is me, one of them is Lindsay, and another one is the Corner Goblin. Sitting through there, goblining away, scribbling away on her next marvelous creation. She has indeed provided some illustrations for it as well. So, that's 3 of us. And if you like LAWhammer, that means you should immediately go get it.
5 of us are vehemently opposed to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, I'm done with my shilling. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm now going to pass over, I think. Hey, Andy, you ready to...
Sure.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to pass over to the always beautiful Andy Lease because this week, it's actually going to be a really fun one over on Inside the Rookery, and it's one that I'm quite excited about. So, over to Mr. Leask.
So our guest tomorrow is John Bultana, I think is how you pronounce it. John is a really interesting guy. He as well as being like a GM on like a number of actual play sort of podcasts, including an Expanse RPG one. His job is he's literally a professor of tabletop role-playing games. He's at college in California. And he also teaches various kind of writing courses, but he does a course on tabletop role-playing games and kind of what they tell us about humanity and kind of interaction and stuff like that. It's fascinating stuff. I follow him on Blue Sky. He's over there as well, worth a follow. Lots of interesting thoughts and opinions and things. So we're going to be talking to him about that tomorrow. It should be very, very exciting.
Has he watched our stream?
But this one,
Yeah.
I don't
I'd be
know.
interested
But
to see what
Lindsay
his-
can ask him tomorrow.
I can
Yeah,
ask him.
I'd be interested to see what his
And just
full-on
apologise to him.
humanity is
Thanks.
based on our stream. Oh, wow.
Hell, we're doomed.
We're doomed. Okay, so I think it is now time for us to turn to the inevitable beginning of the stream. Bookkeeping. XP.
Yes.
Would any of you like some XP for the great deeds that you did last week? Not you, Gerhard.
That's
Yes,
fine.
please.
But can I get the one from the week before?
Yes, you
How
can.
much did we get the week before?
We got 130. I believe.
230. 230.
330.
Yeah. The 7,330.
130.
Yeah, it was 130. And did you get your short-term ambition?
What was my short?
I don't know. On that, did anyone?
No, it's talking
No,
about
Ours is
time.
Recover Gerhardt, our party one.
Party, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that will be done. No, the start of this
Technically, it was
episode.
done. No, it was done at the end because you said that he.
I
was-
did.
Yeah.
Hoisted on my own petard.
Yes.
No.
We've got tapes.
Oh, damn it.
video.
Saying, yeah,
And I
50 XP is a group one, so you also get that.
and I got to
Yes.
find out if Greta and the barge is safe. We did find out that they were safe when they passed through Delbert.
Yes, but that doesn't mean you know it. They're currently safe. So
Exactly.
I'm
Or
happy
it's-
for that
I
one
told
not to stand.
Yeah, yes,
Getting
absolutely.
into the guild.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
In
much
Spain.
done that.
Smash that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you smashed it. 50 XP.
I had catch up with Rickard.
And you
Which I
did.
did.
50 XP.
Now, I had convinced the North to side with Null, and I don't know that I've done anything for it, but it may have happened.
Can you take credit for
It has
that?
yet to occur, so I can't say that one is concluded,
Fair.
but I think it's also fair that it may occur, given how events may unfold through this episode. Alrighty, anyone else? I see a very dark face over there. No.
We will need a new short-term party.
So, short-term party ambition!
Get out of Altdorf or be safe in Altdorf. Maybe.
That sounds a little bit like play an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right?
No?
Should we find out if because it was Absalom Trot, right?
Yeah.
But should we find out if it was
Was it?
really the Trots? Well, we saw that it was Absalom.
Yeah, find out.
Oh my!
Find out what really happened.
Find out what really happened.
Yeah, he
I
wasn't
think,
here
I
last
think
week.
investigate more.
Yeah.
I'm going specific for find out if it was the Trots.
Mm,
If the Trots were behind.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
Oh, you have so
my
much to be
gosh,
told.
okay.
We could have done that in the hour before the stream, but nah.
Well, I think
We
you
talked
got
about dicks and fannies
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff.
what you do.
Well, you did, and we all tried to ignore you.
Oh, Days Lately, thanks very much for subscribing to the stream. Just spotted
Karen
that there.
subscribed earlier
What's
too.
our...
Oh, super.
Find out if it was
Karen.
the Trots behind the attack.
Oh, okay. That's what
Enormously appreciated, thanks. Alrighty, so you've got short term for the group. Does anyone want to pull out short term for themselves? This is always a little bit tougher because you're not quite sure what's going to come up, but
Yes.
is there anything
I'm
that's
gonna-
particularly personal jumping out?
This has been a long term in the past, but I
Uh-huh.
think with where he's at, this is probably a good short term, which is become a magister.
I thought you were going to say become a man.
I'm going to say that that's unlikely to occur over, say, 2 to 3 episodes. Because the chance and the time that it's involved with actually going through the process of it will be longer than...
He got the nod from the head of the college.
Yes, he did.
The literal.
But that, nevertheless, there's still process to go through. It'll take a little bit of time. I am only saying that to be nice because you could put something else in between that and maybe a couple of episodes down, then doing it when it looks like it's likely to tip over the edge. But at the moment, it's fair to say things are a bit febrile in Altdorf.
I'm going to find out if Greta and the barge is safe because I still haven't checked the North Dock and all
That does indeed sound like the most important thing in your life just now.
Why are you such a dick?
Okay.
We did do find out who killed Katerina, but we don't know that she's dead.
Fair.
Find out if Katerina's really dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No?
No.
Because I was thinking of that for me.
No, I'm going to stick with Greta and the Barge.
I
She is
had Uncover who gave the
Sounds
orders
like
to
a
attack
band.
the embassy, but I think
Mhm.
that might take us down a tangent that we don't have time for.
It may.
So I was thinking, like, make sure find protection for the seal. The seal.
You can just drop that
off.
off at the embassy. Touch easy.
No, but I want to keep the seal. So like,
That's a different kettle of fish. Yeah, point taken. Yeah, good.
Okay.
Anything else? Anyone else want to jump in?
I'm struggling to
Still
think
haven't
of
mind.
one.
That's okay. I'm cool with that.
Which is why I posted on the Discord earlier. Like, I don't know.
And on that, I think it's a very nice point to make that if you're not on our Discord community, then do please go join up. There will be links for it sitting down in the explanation for the video over on YouTube later if you're watching on Twitch. Seriously, I can't believe you're not part of our Discord community already because everyone who turns up live pretty much is. But if you're not, seriously, go join Discord. And of course, join us everywhere else too, be that on YouTube. Do subscribe, please. Do like and do ring that bell so you can get alerted when we put up videos. Makes an enormous difference. But you can find us on Blue Sky. You can find us really in other places too. But Blue Sky is probably where we're going to start gathering because it just seems to be a nicer place. We're going to stick, however, posting on YouTube all the time because there's tons of you there and we get lots of good chat. But we are around. We're sort of still on Instagram. We're sort of still on Facebook. We're sort of still around. Well, I mean, I'm still posting, but you know, yeah,
This is tailed off.
yeah, it really has. With that,
What about XP for all of us?
yeah, okay, XP. So, how well did it turn out for you? How
Gosh,
well?
it was amazing. We
Yeah.
did so well.
First half, brilliant.
Yeah, I'd go further. First 90%.
I think the thing,
95%.
yeah, like we literally said, we were doing so well.
And everything that we did as well as we could have done.
I agree.
I
And then the
agree.
things that went wrong.
We got
Arguably, we did so
Yeah.
well that we freaked someone the fuck out and they had to crash that wedding.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
victims of our own success. That they brought the timeline forward.
In which case the
That's
penalty
my
is,
theory.
is the nemesis rather than XP, so we should still get lots of XP.
Well, exactly.
You know what?
And we got Boris to admit he was a Sigma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Boris said we did a great job, and you don't often get that from
Yeah,
a game.
yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm cool with all of that. And you know what? You're right.
Yay!
Yeah, you're right. You did pretty well. You were given a very broad remit in the first part of the episode, and you largely fulfilled it. In that you found out some very core, important pieces of information, brought that back, and it was significantly useful in determining the next steps. And to a degree, the unexpected developments meant that other plans were put forward, and that had a fallout. Victims of your own success. I don't think that's wrong. So I'm going to give you 110 each, and I'll give you 55 just for being a pal.
Thank you very much. Or for,
Yeah.
selling off my surrogate father to
All for
someone
all
else.
the horrors that you went through.
This is going to be a thing with you now, isn't it? You're going to give pining looks to Lucas.
All right.
No, I'm just going to call him a bitch.
Okay, are we all good?
Yes, that'll really win you brownie points.
Are we ready for Ulrictime?
Yes.
Yes.
Ready as we'll ever be.
All right. I think it's time to find out what happened at the end of episode 60.
Da, 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 da.
Did it really happen? Did something else happen? Let's find out as we head into episode number 61. Ulrictime. Are you ready?
Yes.
A clattering of hooves, wheels on cobbles. Knight's Panther, many of them with blood splattered across their barding over their armour. One coach comes in bearing the royal heraldry of midnight. Another comes in after. More Knights Panther. Hooves. Horses. Whinnying. Knights jumping down. Shouts and calls. Battle tongue. Fists raised. Pointed. And then a ring of a bell as a Knights Panther on the opposite side of the open square inside the central palace. It's not a palace, but it's called the Palace, the Todbringer Palace, in Altdorf. It's on its own island, and it's currently entirely defended. The bell rings. The knight on the 5th ring twists round and shouts, 5 more! He says, and then we leave! Knights are milling around, others are getting down and moving out. Soldiers, Middenlanders, Middenheimers, both are confused. There's already talk passing between them. What do you mean leaving? What happened? As the door to the coach, that was at the front, opens, and Boris Todbringer gets out. Blood all over him. And his beard, across his face, and his eyes are red. He's clearly been crying. As he looks around and he says, we're fucking leaving! 5th bell or you're left alone! We're going! Move! 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 He turns round. You're right. And puts his hand up for Umi, Princess Umi, who steps over a slipper covered in blood and steps out. The Jaegers are all in slightly different places. One, slightly surprised at the great clattering of hooves, at the arrival of the coach, and the blood, was sitting with a book on a nice chair, sunning himself.
The wine.
Yeah. Book and heraldry, I believe. Is that correct?
Heraldry. There'll be a mixture of heraldry and medicinal journals on the side.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
As he sees what quickly becomes what was once before a broadly empty courtyard with a couple of servants passing across it, a few soldiers laughing in the corner, a sudden hubbub of activity as everybody's moving from one side to the other. And then if you say, it's funny actually seeing her come out of the coach because it's oddly reminiscent, not of, they're not your memories. As you realize that all of your memories of Yume, all the times you played in the palace when you were kids, none of it's real. None of them are yours. None of them are yours.
Mm.
But she looks like herself, not like the ragamuffin you met on the road. She's dressed as a blood-splattered, spattered might be better, version of herself, but as a Nipponese royal.
Okay.
Rainbow makeup across her eyes. She, under normal circumstances, might have looked... Actually, she looks quite stunning. You're surprised. And yes, she did indeed take the talents to support it. Aristocratic and attractive.
Wow.
She looks quite different. Before you were thinking of the ragamuffin girl, but what comes out is a princess. Huh.
There's lots of people covered in blood.
All over the place.
All right. Well, my memories aren't my own, but I am a doctor still, so let's get to work. Which I will be like to Yume because she's covered in blood.
Sounds perfect. Go
Right.
straight over to where Jume is. Hey, Ulrich. Oh, you are over at the far side of the square where you came galloping in on the back of a horse with one of the Knights Panther. Do you have blood on you?
No.
Yeah, you're blood free. Yeah. Uniform, blood free. The horse you're with, also blood free. the knight that you're with, blood free, as he gets down, gives you a quick couple of orders. You're on your own, and says you've got 5 minutes, without saying a word, and then pulls his leg over, gets down, and immediately moves off into the barracks to start collecting his stuff because they're galloping out as soon as possible.
He sees Boris and Ume get out of the carriage. He's going right over.
Leopold, somewhat similar for you. Sitting on the back of a horse with another knight, but over on the opposite side of the square. Feeling a bit shaky. You've pulled yourself together. Blood. Blood. Blood all over the armor of the man in front of you, because where you were holding, so much blood. You can smell it now, and it's mixed in with the oily metal of the armor. You can, from where you are, sense to me. It's not new, but it's new.
Kind of is new.
But it's new. Yeah, you can sense her divinity. I mean, that normally only happens when you cross into holy ground. But she's over there. So at least she's not dead. What are you doing?
Can I probably won't be able to censor, but can I sense an absence which might be Elementalite?
No. I won't head for you. Sounds good. Hey, Birdie, you're on your horse,
Yeah.
which you have successfully galloped
Get
by
in.
yourself, I would like to say,
Yeah.
all the way over. But rather than looking like the bird of pride, you look kind of shell-shocked.
Very. Is Gerald around?
Gerald is not in your line of sight and hasn't been the entire time. He's a squire, possibly wasn't even there. Your brain hasn't quite caught up with whether he was there or not, but you're still looking around for him in that sort of, sort of way. Your horse has, on its barding, blood smeared down the front and to one side, which is also on your knee.
Yeah, and I keep looking down at that, and I really want a rag to clean it, but I Gerald to find me one because I can't.
Where's
have that on me.
as Alan Wife, where are you?
I'm on.
I mean, are you certain? I mean, who can be certain where Alan Wife is? Are you on a horse?
With a knight.
Are you with a knight? Yes, you absolutely are. Eric, I think.
Eric.
Yes. Nice panther. That you're clutching onto at the back as you arrive in, and you can take in the scene for exactly what it is. A quick, obvious decampment. There's a few other things that you note. Father is looking over with a certain amount of concern, surprise, as he looks around for something, doesn't see what he's looking for. Clearly you were looking for the thing that he doesn't see. Then looks, and you can see his hand lift up slightly as he points over to where Yumi is coming out. Elric, pardon me, not Eric. Eric is Banana Man. Elric is already stomping his way over, and interestingly enough, from where you are, you can see that Gerhardt is also making his way over. One of the Knights Panther has not got off of their steed, and it's Birdie, just sitting there looking down and then calling out for her
I'll
squire.
go over to Birdie.
Over to Birdie you are.
Okay. So I take the helmet off, and I am grey, which I'm pale anyway, but I look.
Alan has blood all over her hands and all over her face.
Yeah.
Smeared
okay?
down by her fingers.
I'm not okay. Are you okay?
No, not in the least. Where the fuck is Gerald? He's supposed to be
all right.
here.
I'll get you off. Come on.
Thank you. I just need something to wipe my armour.
It's going to be all right. Don't worry, Birdie.
Yumi, as you get out, behind you is the corpse of Katarina Tollbringer.
Oh.
It's in the coach that you've just taken into here. Elric, as you get there first, just slightly ahead of Gerhardt, who is having to weave past a whole bunch of suddenly very active individuals. You're moving more swiftly because you're caught up with the immediacy of the situation. You get there and you can see the bodies just sitting there. Poof.
In terms of his etheric senses, is anything flowing through the body?
I'll
Is
be
it-
Algu.
Yeah.
No. Shyish. Oh,
No Gyron.
no. A lot of Algu, a lot of Shyish. All gathered and wrapped around it, and wisps of other colours that you still don't quite understand.
Are you okay, Yumi?
I'm unhurt, but rattled. Are you okay?
No, I'm fine. I followed Boris.
Yes, same.
Menoith, from where you are helping Birdie down, can I have a perception test, please?
By the way, Alamenowith is using helping Birdie down to stop herself shaving
Yeah.
more than anything
We're
else.
leaning on each other.
7, is it sight?
Yeah, it is.
7 successes.
Across on the opposite side of the square, past the milling crowd of soldiers, because 7 successes more than the 5 you needed, is a single figure that you recognize as standing out, separate to all of the various Midlanders that have been gathered by the Todbringers as they move south, and the Middenheimers that are all getting ready to get out of here as fast as they can. It's an Ostlander, quite clearly wearing a black and white uniform, the Red Bull there, a woman with deep tan skin and blonde hair, a small beret cap sitting on with a little enamel badge with a bull on it, and 7 successes. Underneath the Red Bull, you can see scrawled in white enamel paint, shit.
Okay. If Birdie's
Word?
Yeah.
The word shit. S-H-I-T.
Not like a poo emoji.
No, it's not a poo emoji.
where's she looking?
Paints.
Directly at you.
Could be
I'll-
bird.
Make eye contact as I get Birdie down
She does this.
and jog over. I'll be back.
Okay.
Gerhardt, you arrive at Elric, and you make blood, and there's a corpse in there.
Okay.
It's Katerina Todbringer.
Well, I'm a doctor. I don't deal with the dead. I need to get these
And
two sorted.
the throat is just blood.
Did someone take the arrow? I
Get-
ordered it.
The arrow's gone. The front of her blue and white dress, which was once magnificent, is just red.
Right.
There is red footprints all over the place on the inside and leading out into the cobblestones. Some of those have come from Yume.
I need to check. I'll check Yume first.
She's
I'll give
right
her
there.
a
Ask her.
over. Right. I don't know what's going on. Is this your blood?
No, it's
Right.
not.
You're fine. Look at me.
Yes, shocked, but fine. I also checked her. I think she's dead, but go for it.
Okay. Well, look, if you're in shock, have this. Brandy. Sort of that. I should sort of sort you out.
Brandy is the best medicine.
Yeah. Right. And I'll go and-
Swig. Oh, it burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it burns. It burns as you step up into the. Yeah, you don't even need to do anything more than look. She is dead. Paleness has already settled in.
It's still good to do the check. Because yes, the big gash is quite obvious, but just in case,
Oh yeah,
You know
she's
what I mean?
dead.
is
Dead.
it?
It's not
Yeah.
an illusion.
You
or
don't
anything
even need
like
to
that.
roll. I
I
mean,
mean, you could roll an 88
I'd
and
like
say
to.
she's alive and make it so much worse.
I like that.
Could you imagine? We're fine.
It'd be
Five successes.
If she was a zombie, she could probably still.
We could put her on strings and
We can do.
She'd
Boris?
still be a better person than her suitor. She
Okay.
was-
Weekend at Toddy's.
Yeah.
She says, "Hello."
Hello.
Looks around at all the million people. All these people are probably dead. She says, "If you do not want to be dead, I suggest you come with me."
To what end?
To find out who did this.
All right. Let me get my people. How long do I have?
Look around. It is unlikely anyone is coming here as much time as you need. She leans back.
Ooh, sarcasm.
Dang goes the bell as 30, 60 was counted.
I will make a beeline for Ume.
She's, as you're coming out of the coach, she's with Elric. She looks pretty shell-shocked, but in control. She's holding a flask. And Elric?
He's calm, but
Okay.
he doesn't know what's happening.
Ume's probably like, we need to go and we need to get our stuff.
Ume, we've been asked to stay behind to investigate by a third party. Can you tell the Graf that we'll stay?
Who's this third
Is it
party?
safe?
Another employer of mine,
No, who?
Colonel Sievers, the Imperial Ostlanders.
What interest do they have?
He has an interest in the protection of the Empire. I've been working with him for months.
Oh, cool. Know what it is, right?
I told you about him before in Altdorf. That's where I got the information from. About the southern breach. It's why I sent the border... It's why I sent the Grudgebringers the information. Because Colonel Sievers asked me to spread it to anyone who could protect the Empire's southern borders. He's an Imperial man, and I, in this single instance, trust his motivation.
And they've got the men to protect us.
They've got the means to get us out and the people to protect us.
All right.
You say grad
Hey,
bringers.
Leopold, you've sort of sauntered up. You weren't sauntering. But it took you time.
Still a bit disoriented.
Yep. As are you. As you're slowly but surely reaching also. They're huddled talking.
Right, you may have to give that to Birdie. I think she needs it.
She sort of takes it, doesn't even ask what it is, and tosses it down. And still looks completely.
What do you think?
Yes, but I don't think the Baron's going to have time to hear me speak.
No.
Yeah, in fact, given what he said on the way here, you're not going to get an opportunity to speak to him. He will not be in his coach.
Yes.
He's probably already gone.
Yeah. We'll figure it out once we get out of here. Let's get our stuff.
The suggestion is we hide here for a bit. They're going to follow that group. They're not going to come here.
We could send word with one of the knights.
A sudden reverberation passes through the ground,
That's not good.
causing a few to stop, several horses shy, a few of them wicker. And then you hear a
Cannon.
off far to the north. And it echoes and echoes and echoes. You're out on an island. It's bouncing off the buildings.
They were heading to the North Gate, so that's not good.
What? Whoa, whoa! Several soldiers are shouting out. The knights, multiples of them, are egging everyone on. Hurry up! Move!
What was that?
We don't have time!
Is there a ranking Knights Panther?
Sure. Good luck finding him.
Yeah.
Which one? Why? What are you looking for?
To tell them we're staying and to
I don't
Do you think
they
anyone
care.
cares?
I feel like we should tell Boris if we're not staying with him.
He's gone.
I know, but a note or something.
We'll get it to him once they're. If
Remember,
he
I-
gets
who-
out.
I-
Wait, are we still standing right
Yeah,
by
you're
the coach?
standing right by
We
the-
could just leave a note in the coach.
Yeah.
He's not going to leave his daughter's
I'm
bodyguard.
employed by him. He can call me anytime, so I can't just go away.
why don't we let's wait here? It's dangerous to be out in the city streets just now. We're known associates, so we hide here, we let them go, then perhaps we make it back to the embassy and send word from there. It's more neutral.
Yeah, leaving a note with the body might work. I don't really know if they're coming back anytime soon.
No, he won't leave the body behind, surely.
Is it strange that he left it in the first place?
Presumably, yes. Not even guarded.
He's
Like that seemed weird, right?
He's in battle mode rather than family mode,
I
isn't
don't. Is it even her? Like,
Well-
it's all.
listen. What he told me on the way here was get out. If we don't get out, we're all gonna get killed and blamed for what happened. So the main objective is to get out, be safe. We'll figure it out after there.
Right. So he's
So
sent
he'll be
us
fine.
on our
He
own
won't mind
anyway.
that you're not with him
Good.
because he told me to take you all
He said,
away.
not get out with them, just get out.
Get out. Yes.
Where's Lucas?
He wasn't at the wedding.
Oh, he wasn't.
No.
It'd be
So
Did
is he in the
anyone see
manor?
if Sakinski and Huxa got out?
I haven't seen anyone here. I presume I haven't seen anyone here. By the way, who sorted that out?
What?
What do you mean?
Well, I was in prison and now I've...
Oh, Boris. He
Oh,
And pair of Knights Panther come bundling up and slam the doors shut to the coach, and one of them starts leading the horses out towards their front gates. Some soldiers, a group of them, almost 100, start marching out as dong 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 dong. The fourth bell, third one you missed amongst all
Right.
the
Is there
clamour.
any smoke or anything from that thing that happened to the
In the
north?
north.
Is there somewhere high I can go with my eyeglass to have a look?
You're down on a low island, you won't be able to see
Yeah.
much. Altdorf is a city of multiple hills.
Well, that's why I was looking for somewhere in here I could.
Yeah, you're
It's not that tall.
looking up. The woman you spoke to still just sitting over there.
Shall we go and
Oh.
should we not
See how-
hide in the manor?
let's go and see what her proposal is.
We still need to figure out what just happened. I
Yes.
didn't see any of you. We all just got caught up.
Yes.
It was madness.
Let's figure out what we're doing next, and we can speak. Where is Lucas, though? We need to get him.
And Geralt. Fuck's sake, Geralt!
Maybe they're together.
Maybe.
Meat pie.
I also have a slight question. What's happened?
Can
'Cause-
we just get through this
Right,
and talk
sure.
after? I can't go out
Okay,
right
fine.
now.
No, it's
Please.
fine.
Thank you.
No, ready. That's.
I'm sorry.
I want to pass it on. It's probably a good idea.
Woman's
Very
looking
well.
there. Are you moving over
Yes.
to her? I wasn't. Yeah. She looks up and she says,
This
"Are
is
you
my
all
group.
ready to go?" Says, "It is better to move now than before the besieging forces come.
No, we need Lucas.
And we need our stuff.
If you have someone you need to get them now. We do not have much time."
Right.
Ulrich, maybe run in, get our stuff, and look around.
What stuff? I don't have any stuff.
Yes, but we as a party have stuff. In...
I'll get it to me. I'll look for Lucas on the way.
Lucas is asleep.
I'll wake Lucas up.
Completely missed all of it.
Foot shovel.
Absolutely. As
Lucas,
It's
Um,
Marguerite. Your
Marguerite.
class. She don't get that much.
she is not here.
Lucas, you need to get up. You need to get. Are you dressed? We're going. Something terrible has happened.
Yeah,
We're
looks up.
going.
Well, there's one eye and he says, "Oh, right, of course. Going
Our
now."
Ulrich is dead.
What?
Yes. Get your stuff now.
Oh shit. He says, "Oh fuck. Oh
I saw it.
no. Oh shit. I gotta get my things. Dead."
I can't. I need to find the other things. Is there anyone else? Where's Margarita?
No, she's gone.
All right.
And we're looking for Geralt.
And Geralt, have you seen him?
No.
Sakinski.
No.
They were with us.
Sakinski's
He's
on
been
the
asleep.
Right. Fine.
Right. I'll get everyone's stuff.
Please say it wasn't a Reiklander.
But
It
Elric
was-
will have come with you and help.
It was a
Strong
Reiklander.
It looked like it was a trot.
That's why.
Oh god. A trot.
Well,
I don't know why.
it looked like a trot.
Let's do this
Well,
after. when
presumably
everyone's
he's
here.
been captured then.
No.
Let's go. We don't know. We don't know.
As he takes his bags, goes down, comes out. Oh. Hello.
Lucas, have you been here the whole time?
But yes. You?
Yes.
Says, "Oh right. Right.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Right.
Ah.
No rush. Just go on.
Posture and posh.
As as she looks up. Are you all ready?
You know what the noise was to the north?
Yes. She says, "That was us.
What did you do?
Gave him a route out."
Oh. No.
Wait.
You blew the walls.
Have you blown a wall?
She says, "But they might not reach there in time."
Let's hope they do.
She says, "Let me be very clear. If you wish to fight by his side, you might want to go now. It is very likely he will be dead before the night is out. If you wish to give your life with that, then do so. My colonel thinks that you might prefer to find out what happened. You are in a position that you might be able to help in a way that no one else can if he doesn't die. If he dies, well, you're wanted. If he doesn't die, then you have the power of an elector count. And a wronged one.
Why? Obviously, we know they'll be chased out of Altdorf, but why do you think he'll die? Is there someone already who's close to him?
Look, it's all going to depend on one man, just one. The Reichsmarshal, and how fast he thinks. When he puts everything together, he will realize that there is war coming. There is no opportunity for there not to be a war. So he will do everything in his power to stop Reichland losing, which means he has to take Boris Tobringer today.
Out of character, and this might be a thing, but considering the ramifications of Katerina's death, who's next in line for Middenheim? Because she was Boris's heir.
There isn't one. It would.
It would just.
It's a relatively...
Boris needs to remarry again now. And
So killing him would
killing
basically
Boris will
open it up to claim.
Open it
change
up to
everything.
a completely different bloodline,
so
like say
Middenland,
the
potentially.
Hellsteins or Middenland.
I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. Or Lucas. So.
Well, I think there's a better bastard than Lucas. But
You're right. She's right. Boris, they need him to be dead. If he gets away,
He will
that's
rally
why
the
he's
North.
going right now.
that's why he
knows.
went first. He didn't even.
He was so calm. He expected this, I think.
No, he
It's
didn't.
just
He was not. He was just getting out of there.
Well, he was incredibly collected while I saw him. Maybe it's different in the carriage, but in the church, he kept the only cool head in there.
What happened?
Can we? Are we waiting here, or
She
I
says,
think we're moving.
I would
on.
prefer to move.
then let's
But let's
walk and
get
talk.
somewhere safe.
She says, come this way. There is a better way out than the front gates. And she leads you off down a small corridor between two of the main buildings, in through a back door, down through a hatch into a cellar, which has a large broken part to its wall. From there, it goes into a long tunnel. That long tunnel is about a good 40, 50 paces, going relatively steeply down. It's higgledy-piggledy, then hits another stone wall and bursts out on the other side to just what appears to be a small alley, which leads you down to the water where there is a boat, which she offers you over to. Hey, it's a sailboat, but it's using oars. And there's 8 rowers there, all soldiers, quite clearly, wearing the black and white of Ostland.
Do I know any of them? Have
Nope.
I met them?
Nope, none of them.
Did Geralt turn up?
Nope.
It's fine.
Fuck that guy.
As she
Horse is
says,
gone, right? Or do you have your...
this is the colonel's guests.
Left it behind.
No, whatever. Another one says, what do you mean the guests? Says, how come he gets guests? And why are we the ones that are... Shh. Well, I will do it then. There's bombs going off, you know. He says, and she goes, I know. Well, where are the bombs going off from? He says, are we in danger? She says, that's for the colonel to worry about.
So these were soldiers.
Yeah. See,
That seems like a strange response for a
Didn't
soldier.
say good soldiers.
Yeah. Didn't say
Sure.
old soldier.
Yeah.
Well, the secret spare because they're not good for anything else.
Yeah.
There's a fair bit of space at the back of this vessel. It's a pretty long one. Its sails are all wrapped up tight and furled. Giving you a moment, she sits down in the boat and goes, so, what happened?
Yes. What has happened?
What happened?
Are we safe to talk? And he's asking how the men are with.
Also, was anyone hurt?
No.
No.
Sure.
Well, why don't we take it in turns, otherwise, and try and piece together what happened?
I think we're safe to talk as long as they row really loudly.
Well, everything is the same until everything happened. We were at the engagement.
Hooves. Clattering of hooves from up where you were. They're moving out now. But it's not the only hooves.
Mm.
Further down, by a bridge, you know the bridge, it's the three-toll bridge right there. Buildings perched precariously from it in multiple places. But there, breaking between the gaps, Reichsguard, moving at a full gallop.
How many?
Difficult to tell, it's through very fine gaps. You can see the red and the occasional flash
the
of blue
Panthers won't know
and
they're
the
coming,
silver.
will they?
They might
How-
guess.
How far are the Panthers from us?
Well, yeah, now.
Too
quite
far to
some distance,
shout, yeah.
Way too far to shout,
I
yeah.
guess they would have assumed that they
Oh
weren't
yeah,
getting
for
it.
sure.
And they still had the contingent of brights.
Who?
The
Yes.
midnight.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
would
yeah,
have left
absolutely.
them.
As
Nice.
They've got a way to deal potentially.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
For Gerhardt who wasn't here.
Yes. So Katerina, we went to the place of the shining rock. You know that.
Yes.
We did there was a deal to marry Katerina.
I want to know who died.
We're getting there.
Can we just start from the end?
Okay.
What
Doesn't
Agnes?
know that.
That
Okay.
seems very strange way to do it. It's fine. Okay, we'll do from.
We were at
Agnes.
the temple of Ulrich.
I was there. No.
No,
No,
you
sorry,
weren't
no,
there. As
the
soon
wedding.
as Wolfgang walked in, pretty much all hell broke loose.
There was a signal.
There was a signal.
There was a signal on the second right side of the Reichlander's side.
There was a massive magical influx basically saying, well, I think it's saying,
Wizards.
go.
Fuck.
It could be that, or it could be something else.
And then it looked like Absalom Trot charged the
Our Ulrich.
Ulrich.
He came
And
out of
killed
nowhere,
him.
though.
He
Literally.
came out of a crowd.
Did he not?
Not just look.
I was right there. I was already moving. Our Ulrich was going to smack the groom.
Mhm.
I was right there. I was right behind our Ulrich. And then suddenly we were like 10 feet away. He'd smashed through 3 ranks of Ulrich knights. Just
Absalom
power
Trot was not in that room. I would have noticed him. You do not notice that man when you have the history that I have with him and his family.
No.
Ever.
Well,
He was not in that room
you.
Unless
under-
he had help,
unless he was magically
Mhm.
hidden. And
which could be what.
why on earth would the Trots do that?
It's
Kill the people that would come to their aid in the
Yeah.
Reichland.
But we
Yes.
knew the Trots
Madness.
were against this because they had plans for riots in Altdorf. We,
That's-
by
no.
having the wedding early, we made that happen.
But to kill our Ulrich, I don't believe it. I just don't.
I don't know, he's dead.
He's dead. I saw him. I saw his guts falling out of him. I saw his rib cage smashed open. As though, not that someone had hit him with a dagger, but as though he had been ripped apart from the inside out.
it wasn't a dagger. It was a sword, a rune blade.
Absalom wielding a ring blade.
Yeah, not a rune five.
Right.
But a rune blade.
No, Greta said he had one, right?
No, a dagger.
No, was that
And
a
it's a
dagger?
dagger, but it's a rune.
Anyway,
He had
I-
a dwarven. He had, when I saw him, he had a dwarven blade. Did it look like that dwarven blade?
No, you didn't see
I
it.
didn't see. I mean, I saw
does it-
Absalom
But
Trot
you see
come,
it,
but I
yeah.
didn't see
What
You
it.
did
see
it
it.
look like?
I didn't see it. I was looking in the
No, but
eaves.
have you seen it before?
Just looks like a dwarven blade with runes on it.
But it was a dagger.
Was I
right?
close enough to
This,
see?
this was a
You,
sword.
too fast.
No,
Yeah.
it's just a sword. It's just it looks smaller in his hand.
I mean, this
there.
but this didn't look small in his hand. This looked like a big Harlequin
It
sword.
was about that big, so I mean, it was a sword.
That's what you called a dagger last
Yeah.
time. Like literally that size.
Yeah.
Describe it to me, because he used to show off weapons all the time.
Sure. It was.
Okay.
I mean,
A
Moonfall
sword.
can probably describe the runes, not what, just what they look like.
Yeah.
You know, one like that, and then one like that, right, and then one like that.
Right.
Not any sword that you've seen.
No.
I had
He
a
would- and he would've-
realization actually.
Presume so.
Yeah.
I think I saw that in the shadows of the flame up in Middenheim when we went together. There were priests there who were writing down images that would show up in the shadow of the silver flame. And when we were there, I saw some things, and what I realized is that I saw a wolf being attacked by a griffin, and I think that's this.
Uh-huh.
I didn't realize at the time.
The Trots
before I even met our work.
Are they
Yeah.
mainly associated with griffins?
No, I'd say gnomes more associated with griffins.
The Emperor, the
Mm.
Sigmarines.
It could
And
be.
the
not
right
associated with it because
Because of Magnus. Yeah.
of the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a symbol of
Yeah.
Sigmar.
It's a symbol of the Emperor.
I
It
don't know,
was
The
I'm,
right clan.
Yeah.
I'm well aware
So
how
they are-
critical this is going to sound, but we've got to be careful when it comes to interpreting visions.
Well,
Can't
right
be
clan,
careful.
right
It's like the little rascals. It's my thing. Get away. You.
It looks like Reichlanders of some description
Yes.
killed a
Yeah.
big old fucking wolf.
Yes.
And meanwhile, I saw an archer in the eaves and I was too late to reach her and she died.
So
But none of us saw the archer, right?
I knew. Oh,
No, you
I
Does
saw
I mean none of us? So we
Katerina
don't
Todgren
know.
is dead.
Oh, that will be why we were moving then.
Yes, and we've double checked. She's dead.
did it
Is
look
it-
like
is-
an Aaron?
But not Ulrich.
Yes.
There's something off. I don't know what. Something
And-
wasn't right.
The water ripples again. And you hear a off in the distance.
There's another one.
Far to the northeast this time, as the rowing continues on, and they all go, bloody hell! Another one goes, Niet! 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 We must get out of this city! Niet! It says,
Is that some news?
Are there any spare oars?
pardon, there are, but you would be imbalancing.
I was going to
I-
opt out.
I don't believe it was the Trots. I just don't believe Zedekar Trot would be
No.
so stupid.
It
It's
seems
very ham-fisted.
for him.
It's not his style. It's not his way. And he just wouldn't.
Did anyone
With
see?
absolute improvise.
No.
No,
Absalom is a dog. Dogs don't improvise.
And
If a dog's far from his master, though.
no,
No.
he is very much well trained. Like, yes, he is insane, but he will never do anything that isn't said yes to by his father. And his insanity is sort of linked to years of mistreatment from his father and his sister. He is a tool. He is more a tool than a person.
Well, we know the Aldorfers did not want the wedding to happen.
But what,
This is
but what was the magic? What broke through?
it's
Did you see the color?
it was a lot of things. There was so much hype because of the temple and the holiness. It was not quite clear, but I would say it's maybe two things. Either that magic sign was a symbol for Absalom to attack, or as Alamenoid says, it's not him.
Why would you need a symbol? You just
Not
attack.
a signal.
Why would you need a signal to break through the house walls? I'm telling you.
Maybe there was other things at play protecting our Ulrich. Maybe this was the sign that his defense is down. Or
I mean-
I can only assume from
The
why else would it be
woman
a
puts up
massive?
her hand and says, "Can I may ask, whose blood is that?" Oh, there's so much blood.
Is she 100% sure? I
You're
don't think
not
so.
100% sure.
I don't know. There was so much bloodshed. All
Perception test, please.
Yep.
Somebody was beheaded as we were heading out of the town.
yes, thank
I
you
saw,
very much.
I saw just a guest, an Ulrich just beheaded a guest. And then attacked a priest. They were holding our Ulrich's body, the Ulrichans, up, and it was pouring all over them. The inside of him.
It's the blood that you sensed.
Oh, actually, it's probably 8 because it's not through the hearing.
No,
So, yeah.
I'll still do. It's the blood you sensed, not her.
Oh, I leave that.
Oh,
Our Ulrich.
Yeah. Oh. Wow. It's our Ulrich, I think.
Well, I was close enough. That could be it. Yes.
Sam, she goes, fucking hurts.
who killed Katerina?
Don't know.
Apparently, this
It was just an archer.
art.
I can't believe I didn't spot them. I looked in that temple. As soon as we got in, I looked everywhere. She wouldn't even have been there if it hadn't been for me.
These are the places. She says they are always checked, double checked and triple checked. So either it is someone who was already left there by the people doing the checking, or they were very good.
The wound Was it the wound that I saw on Katerina when I checked her?
Yeah.
Is it in line with that?
Oh yeah. It's hole and blood. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's
100%.
definitely that's what it was.
That's all. Go.
You also saw Absalom trot. It's worth checking, but it was an arrow, I'm afraid to say.
I can't shake the feeling that maybe that wasn't really her, and maybe that's just wishful thinking, but something felt wrong.
Why?
As the
I can't articulate that something was wrong.
boat that you're in rolls up close to a jetty and moves in as she goes, shh, gets up, looks out, holds up her hand, quite clearly saying, hold for a moment. One of the soldiers says, here, shh. Good. We have a coach. And clatter, 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 clatter. As a coach comes up, less a coach and more of a open taxi pulled by one horse. That'll do. He says, are you coming? As the soldier, one of them goes, we are coming too. Bloody rope this up, die here, probably killed by who knows what, archers. He says, this way. I'll take the bags.
I'll help.
Yeah, well, do that.
She counts. 8. It's going to be a tight squeeze.
We're not a small party, most.
I'm going to, if possible, just take a vial from medicine case. Just get a little bit of the blood off you, mate.
Yeah, no, it's all soaked into her clothes.
Got a little bit of her. Do you mind if I
spray might be our Ulrich on,
You can
on
have it
Lube?
later.
Yeah.
on your face?
I say if
It was over half an hour ago, though, so
Yeah,
that's
it's now
fine. Yeah,
dry
yeah,
all
yeah,
over
that's
his
okay.
face, too.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
that's our Ulrich.
That's him. Okay, fine. Calm down.
I don't know
And
what
then
that one was.
I got transfer
Right.
from you, mate, down my tabard, so
Okay, that's fine. Don't worry about it for now.
No,
you'd be
why do
easier-
you want to?
You'd be easier cutting it off and
Actually,
putting that in.
I could give you my blindfold later.
No,
Perfect.
hold on.
Yes.
Why?
It's a relic.
It's
Sacred.
Or some nefarious thing could be done with it as well.
No, I'm trying to be delicate in terms of my plan of this.
So
Just-
taking it when not asking her, just trying to take blood off her is
I
delicate.
asked.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
You didn't say that. You just said, while this is happening.
As the coach,
Composed asked.
the open taxi moves off with everyone crunched in, and the driver at front says, it's quite a day, eh? He says,
just
as he looks back,
dead
I'm going
stares.
to ask no questions, you're in armour and all, he says, but that seems to be an awful lot of mud. He says, you better be paying me a lot. Yeah, of course we're paying you a lot. You better be paying me a lot. I ain't seen nothing, right?
That's your thing.
You should done my So- bit.
It's
Otherwise, it's just like looking at her.
It's a 20-minute coach ride of silence because sadly we have ourselves a listener in.
Yeah.
He does, however, have some important things to say. Weather's been a bit warm. Great. And do you hear that big bang? You know what it's like over at the right spot. There's always things going on there.
That's why the barge is probably great. Momo's gonna reach over.
So where have you
and
come
just
from then?
Squeeze Alamadon's knee kind of in support.
I'll clean her hands.
Has anybody got a cloth?
I keep the rag.
She's like, don't touch me, don't touch
It's
me.
all right.
I can't, God. She wouldn't.
It's okay.
East End can be a bit rough, I know. He says as he goes on. My old sister, she lived down East End for a good 2 years.
How far are we going?
She's like,
It's fine. I know you feel it. You don't do what we do you? Yeah.
Good.
You can put it. You can't. Look, I'm going to clean you up. Okay.
right.
All right.
We're not literally arses to elbow.
He's just like,
It's tricky, but
And you're taken to a townhouse down in the south of Altdorf. You pass by what could be best described as a factory. It gives you at least an idea of the general tone. Lots of workers who are very grubby, and long chimneys spouting dark grime into the sky. And it's a small townhouse beside this that you're brought to, as she takes out some coins and passes him some gold. Nods. See, nods back. Yep. 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 And she wanders up to the door and goes tap, tap, tap on it. Door opens and a big fellow there with an enormous pair of mutton chops. One eye, which is white, scars all around it, and 2 fingers on this hand, 1 pinky on this hand. The rest of it's kind of gone. This bit looks melted. He's got a loose shirt over the top, strings all loose, as he goes, "Is this them, duh?" And she goes, "It is them." Looks over. Says, "Lot of blood," you hear, as she goes, "Well, they were rat bad. And it wasn't so good, I hear." And he goes,
This is an inn, yeah?
no,
Townhouse.
Town, just a house.
Just a house, yeah.
Okay. Right.
As you hear her, again, you two hear her saying, "You upstairs?" "No, upstairs." He says, "Any of you want anything drink?"
Yes.
Yes.
He says, "We've got maybe some beer." He says,
Yes.
Higher strength?
"No, beer."
Okay, lots of beer.
Fine. Yeah.
Have you got a bath?
He says, "Нет." And she says, "Upstairs. We have to go upstairs."
Right.
As Lucas goes, "Right. Well, do you mind if I leave bags here?" He says, "Anywhere you want." "Oh, thank goodness." Looks at the stairs. Right, here we go. Everyone going up, I presume? Outside, 2 pretty short, darker-skinned fellows, with their arms folded, wearing black and white uniforms. The big red bull of Ostland marked on the side of their caps. As one looks up and says, "Herr Star, what are these?" And she says in return, "They're the ones I brought for Colonel." See, they do not look like soldiers. And not. Get out of the way. Whatever. The other one looks over. Interesting party. This is definitely an interesting big toe night and priest with rags and blood face and big bloody dress. Pretty elf. Oh shit. Wizard. Ooh. Sea wizard.
And a perfectly ordinary noble.
I've seen you somewhere before.
As she opens up the door, and on the inside you can hear, "You could have knocked." "They're here," says the man who's there. "Here." "Let them in then." On the inside, there is a large table around which are 6 men. One you recognize as Colonel Sievers, a man in his 60s, lean, very lean. High cheekbones, silver hair hanging down. It looks like it could do with a brush. He's looking over a map of Altdorf. As he looks up, "How many casualties? Who were they?"
Our Ulrich, Katerina Todbringer,
Fucking hell.
a priest of Sigma, various guests.
As you speak and say each part, she nods each time as he looks between you and her. Fucking hell. Our Ulrich. "Well, it looks like we made the right choice, gentlemen." Says, looks at you. "Now, I'm going to speak to them. Everyone fuck off." He says, "You know what to do." And, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir." So they go around. He says, "I'm sorry, we don't have chairs. Apologies. We aren't exactly prepared for what is almost certainly unfolding here. I'm glad you came. I wasn't sure if you would. We are in a waiting period. You could be the most useful people in this city, or you could be useless. We will find out in about, he says, half a bell, maybe more. I don't know if you understand exactly what has just occurred. Obviously, you have clearly been through some ugly situations. He says, first, you don't all know me, so introductions. I am Margrave Seavers. He says, I'm from Ostland, colonel of the Imperial Ostlanders. You may have heard of me. Anyone with lore warfare has heard of him. Colonel Seavers has been down in the Border Princes for the last 10 years or so, fighting against greenskins largely. And in that time, there has been multiple books written about what he has done with just a single regiment of soldiers.
Alan Enwith has also told us quite a lot.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But anyone who comes from Altdorf, we can add a second layer of potentially being aware of him, because in Altdorf, they featured the Imperial Ostlanders in a whole host of Fennig Dreadfuls.
That's the gentleman that I played. The Ostlander, he was part of that, wasn't he?
The Ostlander, yes.
Yes.
And yes, absolutely, Ren the Butcher. That's it. Okay, Ren the Butcher, who is mentioned in multiple adventures of the Imperial Ostlanders. And the Imperial Ostlanders are pretty much the darlings of many a street rat of Altdorf. They have been serialized and sensationalized to the point that they are almost clearly impossibly powerful and capable, and they can do anything, whether it is the relatively famous sniper who could kill an orc from 5 miles away, or Ren the Butcher, indeed, who could sneak into any encampment, take out an orc warlord by himself, and sneak right back out again, probably wearing an orc outfit. The stories are all a bit ridiculous.
Luring an orc.
And
Followed it out.
behind it all, you can't help but think maybe there may be some truth in some of them.
I
Like,
mean, have you heard our story?
yeah, quite. They are quite clearly relatively famous. And as you heard all the way back when you were first passing through Altdorf, they had returned with a certain amount of ceremony. Everyone was quite excited to hear that the Imperial Ostlanders were in the city, which gave them almost a certain freedom because they were relatively famous, meaning that certain people didn't move against them or try to push them out because they're for a regiment, effectively. They're from Ostland. They're outsiders. They are not part of the whole Reichland or Altdorf military state. So they've partly been here for some length of time, doing whatever it is that they do. But on the more realistic front, he has had some significant military victories. That is certain. As he rubs his nose and says, first, I lied. I have a chair. He says, this is Altdorf. And it's been quite clear since the beginning of the year. There's something terrible was unfolding here. I returned to Altdorf to inform the Emperor that the southern border was going to fall and that Averland had to be brought to the table. The diplomacy down there is febrile, but the Emperor was well within his means to call his old friend Lightdorf and to bring peace to the matter so that they could strengthen Grenstad, Blackfire Pass, because the border princes are going to fall. Now that sounds ridiculous. The border princes always stand. Large parts of it fall and retaken, but the border princes stand. No, they're going to fall. I've been down there for 10 years, and we did everything we can, but there was a recent invasion that passed through, and they have brought with it, in their wake, an uncounted number of greenskins that are pouring over from the Darklands on the other side of the World's Edge Mountains. And they have followed the invading force, which was destroyed not far from Null. Unfortunately, what follows after is going to be worse. They have built to such a number that they will gather in great force within the next year at a minimum, perhaps 2. Now, that is terrible and certain, and I could not get an audience with the Emperor. I couldn't, which immediately got me concerned. One of my employees spotted that there were things that were unfortunately unfolding in the capital, and we have been here ever since. We've been ordered away multiple times, but those orders got lost. They have yet to be received by me, so here I stand. Unfortunately, my elector count arrived here just last week. I have yet to be ordered away by him, but I will be very soon, which means we are on very short time scale. I need to have this confirmed. Are you certain our Ulrich is dead?
Yes.
Yes, as much as we can be.
Then our time scale is short. If Boris gets out of the city, then you will have his authority. This is known. It's known in the court. They have spies. They've been watching you. They've been watching Boris. They know who you are.
And
They
that
had
is
you.
seal.
They had you. And they know who you are. And you will be able to speak with the authority of the Tollbringers. And they have just suffered a loss. Of course, if they don't get out the city, then it doesn't matter. The second we became aware of what had happened at the temple, we weren't exactly sure what it was. We set our own plans in action. It wasn't for the Tollbringers, truth be told. We have been prepared to leave this city for some time, expecting to be expelled. We have all of the gates primed, should we need to get out. It was done some time ago. It was useful, put it in place, and when we saw that the palace was sending orders using their contraptions with the mirrors, it was quite clear. Yes?
You just triggered the memory, don't worry, this happens for me.
It was quite clear that the North Gate was going to hold against the Tollbringers. So we made a calculated guess that they would be making their way out to try and preserve what we hoped would be the status quo. We don't want this to turn as ugly as it clearly can become. But if our Ulrich's dead, then it's inevitable. All we're doing is we're delaying by weeks, but at the moment, Boris Tollbringer is not an enemy. And he won't be until either he is attacked directly, which will only happen if he loses the chase to the North Gate. But if he gets out, then he's everybody's friend. It's going to be very difficult to kill him when his entire army lies to the north of the city. And it's large enough that it could besiege the city. It wouldn't work. It would be a fool's errand. But it is large enough that it's going to protect him. I fervently hope that what we did will make a difference. In these difficult times, there are often only 1 or 2 people who can make a difference. In this case, the Reichsmarshal was one of them. Fortunately, he was not there. If he had been there, I guarantee you now that Boris would be dead. He wasn't.
No, I'm mixing up Schwarzhelm.
Yeah, Schwarzhelm was. He would have realized just how much danger the Reich and the Emperor was in. So I'm going to contradict your potential. This very much falls into the Trot's hand. The Emperor could have been dead today. They could all have been dead today by killing our Ulrich. Now, it doesn't mean it wasn't him or it was him, but there are very strong tactical reasons to take him out in that fashion. The North will not care. not one bit, which part of Reichland was responsible. They will just come south. And they will come south with one intent in mind. Altdorf. That's it. Oh, sane minds might say that's ridiculous, but there will not be sane minds in the cult of Ulrich. The cult of Ulrich will be concerned with one thing only, sacking Altdorf. It will not be the first time it's happened in the past. The North has taken out Altdorf more than once. Once it was a terribly small city.
The most likely successor is his son.
His son?
Our Ulrich's son is the most likely successor. He's
Well,
one of
that's it.
Boris's closest friends.
I can't say I know the North particularly well.
His name is... He's a
Valgeir,
Valgeir.
probably.
And Boris and he fought together in Nordland. They're very close. Boris hated our Ulrich, the father, but he loves the son.
Oh, well, that's going to be a difficult situation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we have a moment of brief repose where we can't do anything because it's very possible if anyone sees you, they will kill you. And we won't know if you're safe until we get word from the gates.
Is Emraith here?
No.
Colonel, we've kind of circled around it, but I think our party would feel better if we could get your assurance that if Boris is captured and killed, you assure our freedom and safety.
Oh, you can do whatever you want. Says, I can't assure your safety. The
Within
entire
your
city
walls.
very possibly will move against you. You will be on your own recognizance. Personally, if I were you, I would probably investigate anyway. Who the bloody hell did this? Who was responsible? You've already given me contradictory accounts. Who killed the princess?
It was an archer.
An archer. Who saw the archer?
I saw the archer in the eve.
Species?
Could I tell?
No.
Was it an elven bow? I mean, could I even see the
No.
bow or the arrow?
No.
I couldn't make anything out.
Which seems unusual for you. I suggest they were obscured deliberately.
Magic.
I'm not even convinced it was her.
Why weren't you convinced it was her? If I may ask, Father.
It felt off. I can't really articulate it. It was very confusing, but it didn't feel right.
We can confirm if it was or wasn't.
How?
I'm. This will be difficult, and I'm not entirely sure if it will work. But you have the ability, if you taste someone's blood, you know of them. Yes.
But if the senses can be fooled, the senses can be fooled.
Sure. Look, this is worth testing. Surely, if it is somebody who's made to look like, or somebody who does look like. But I won't suggest it unless
They're
I'm
covered
anyone
in
that says
blood.
yes.
How can you tell which is which? Like, you'll get the sense of the person's life, but you won't know necessarily that was Katerina. I don't know how you could tell age, from what I remember.
Sometimes.
I
Depends.
presume it's your knowledge of her.
I don't think it'll work.
Okay. We could try. But you would have to say yes.
Pardon me. Yes, come.
Yes?
The door opens. Sir, he says, we are getting word there is conflict in north of city. Shit. He says, what sort of conflict? Do not know. It could just be Ulricans. Says, if it's Ulricans, we are maybe in good place. If it's not Ulricans, we are in bad place. Shit. Yes. Send word for confirmation, please. Does, sir. Closes it.
I think one of the things is trying to understand.
I'm going to leave you for a moment. I need to go and speak to them. Closes the door.
Just what the magic was. Whoever orchestrated the whole thing has access to some powerful people.
I feel like there was some Ulgu. I'm sure you said to me there was some Ulgu in that big rush, but you know.
In my head, I have a memory of Shyish as well.
Yeah.
But
Ulgu gathers around political.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Machinations.
So much Ulgu would be there, yeah.
the whole
Agreed.
chapel, whatever, was covered in Heish as well. So
Yeah.
I don't understand.
It's not a
I
shame.
It's magic, but it's holy. But it's magic, but it's holy.
there is a possibility that the fact that the emperor was there, meaning that it can't have been possibly the Reichlanders is false, and that because they have a successor lined up, and potentially a duplicate, they don't require him anymore, and it's another way of kind of obfuscating who actually did it.
I can't imagine the court would allow such a thing. If they're aware that the emperor is, shall we say, not particularly well, and they would never accept a double.
This is the first time people have seen Karl Franz.
Well, maybe perhaps
that
outside of
condition,
Arthur.
right?
So many people
I
were
imagine-
shocked
Yeah.
to see him.
Lucas has 3 schemed questions per session, if you wish.
Sure. Cool. Good to know.
I honestly think, given what Colonel Sievers told me about the preparations and that we knew that they might be going to attack the Todbringers, because of what we told Boris about that, he moved things forward. I think we should look to think who would have been panicked by this. Whose hand did we force?
Which, if it is his brother, then he may have people in the court that are more loyal to him than the current emperor.
I mean, it
That's
could have been
that's
a
a very-
knife man.
But also, they might
That's a
not
very
even
good
be aware they're
point.
more loyal.
The room shakes slightly and dust falls down from some of the bombs.
That's a very good point the princess makes that we're talking about.
You hear from below, "Oh!" from down there. "Oh!"
Where's our beer?
We're talking about these factions as if they're one monolithic block, but they're not. They're just groups of people.
Yeah.
And groups of people disagree regularly about what they should do and what the right way forward is.
We also haven't really talked about the painters. Would this not be the perfect thing for them? They're about to see some unity for once.
Then, yeah, potentially.
This is their stronghold.
Leopold, you hear? Yet that was not one of ours.
Oh.
From down below. And you
Looks
what do
like
you mean
a-
not one of ours?
One of your wizards, maybe?
As he says, Yet says that was from south. We have not blown south gates. Says,
Cool.
and the other one says, we did other day. And he says, yes, but we did not replace them. Oh, he says, oh, someone else did.
No. I'll pass on. Yeah, that wasn't it. Like, maybe no were attacking in the south.
Well, yeah, cannons would make that noise.
Because they were around, right? They were,
Yeah,
they
they
were
were
camped.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Sir, do you think it is time to war yet? And you hear, I have absolutely no idea. We're still waiting for intelligence. He says, should I polish sword? He says, always.
Well, it sounds like we may have failed to stop at least one part of the prophecy. Was there anything after it?
I don't think we're meant to stop it.
I mean, there was one small bit after, I believe, the White Walls falling. Let me consult my memory.
If you could consult yours as well.
Yes. Ripping through our memories.
We absolutely
Yes.
were meant to stop.
Tremble in fear, ye mighty, for the end times have come.
All right, well,
Oh,
let's
great.
just get the mighty to be happy then.
Well,
No, I
the White Walls fall, leaving our empire in ruins.
There's still
So-
time.
Is the empire ruins yet? Ruins! Not quite.
No.
I have a schemer question for Lucas,
Uh-huh.
which is, if
You Lucas Steve.
if Lars survives and we are essentially kind of like his representatives in here,
Yeah.
Not a fate point.
do we have like legitimate claims to just barge in and demand answers? Like, what's the deal that like?
Oh, absolutely. He is going to be personally concerned about the death of his daughter, and he would brook absolutely no impediment to finding out exactly what the cause of that death would be. I can see no door that would be left barred, perhaps, excepting the Emperor. I mean, maybe even his heir would be expected to at least provide an interview.
So as long as he survives, we don't have to like scurry around or anything.
No, I think we'll actually be in a very strong position, but if he doesn't survive, we're in a very tremendously weak one.
If he doesn't
Even if
survive, should we go to Nong?
I think we go, well,
Even if he survives,
Yes.
nothing's stopping people from killing us. Like,
Oh,
although,
absolutely. But
Yeah.
that's just the
Yes, but
everyday
then,
thing.
then it would be a declaration of war, which is quite different to.
or accidents befalling his representatives.
Yes, but then there would be a declaration of war almost certainly that would follow afterwards, and they have a large besieging army outside. It would be very different to they've lost their king, so to speak. The Grand Duke, if he is alive, is a banner that is extraordinarily powerful.
There would be similar consequences, but without the detriment
Yeah.
for the North.
And remember, he also grew his army on the way down here.
And I imagine it's going to swell significantly when word spreads. And if he survives, he will be sending word north immediately. I say he. It will be the cult of Ulrich.
There's Ulrichans everywhere.
Yes, there is.
What? Why the trots, though?
Well,
I find it difficult to understand.
What is there to gain? If it wasn't them, someone wants them blamed. Why?
When the Ulricans history question for you.
Yes.
When the Ulricans sacked Altdorf the multiple times before,
Yeah.
did they just sack it and fuck off, or did they sack
Yeah,
it
pretty
and stick
much.
around? Right, that's why. Because you get all the Ulricans come down, clear out Altdorf, and then Zendikar can just walk in and say, "This is mine now." Right? That's
Yeah, and that would not be. I mean, there would be obviously a whole lot of looting, but very possibly Zendikar would be involved with that.
yeah. And then
I mean,
you've got,
yeah. After all, there would be a question there, though.
I can roll it.
But does that not fit stories that we've heard about them before, about them doing that with greenskins? Sending greenskins in before to kind of soften the enemy up before they go in.
but
Who? The trots?
The trots.
yeah, but in that case, you wouldn't send yourself in to do the killing.
Yeah.
You'd send someone else.
It's also worth noting.
Because
That's true.
when they're finished in Altdorf, they'll come after the Trots because they're the ones that killed our Ulrich.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It doesn't seem like...
There is, you know that there's a link between our Ulrich, not our, pardon me, Boris Todbringer and the Trots.
Yeah.
You know
But what does that mean in this case? That he's unlikely to.
that they were war buddies in the conquest of Nordland.
So is it just...
They're also friends.
Yeah.
So does that
Him
mean they're
and
using...
Boris and Valgia, the son, are friends. They fought together. They're of the same age. They know each other well.
So they want to spin this as this is Boris trying to take over the cult of Ulrich? Or blaming him?
I just think the Trots aren't involved.
No, but that's what I mean. They're using Boris's war buddy as...
Or they're using it to drive a wedge to blame the Trots. So the Ulrichans come after the Trots. So the Ulrichans do the work the Reichlanders don't want to do.
Yeah.
They crush the rebellion.
Maybe it's not even that calculated. Maybe
Sewing care.
if it is the painters and what they want is the empire in ruins, it almost doesn't matter. But maybe just what they want is confusion. They want uncertainty.
I think it's the Emperor's brother. He's a grey wizard.
Well, he also
He has the
wants-
skills. He can send a knife man. He's powerful enough to make an illusion that would make him look like Absalom Trot.
Right.
Yeah.
I asked earlier, did anyone see what happened to him?
To Absalom.
Yeah.
No.
Nobody.
As soon as I
He was out in
ran,
the open. He stabbed our Ulrich.
He smashed him through ranks.
And he
And
disappeared.
then just seemed to disappear.
He ripped the sword out.
And that's
the
not-
runes flared.
that's not
and
his
then
style
there's
at all.
blood everywhere.
it's not his
And then
style.
Katerina
It's
was shot.
physically.
Because it happened just after.
No,
remember.
it all happened at once.
Just it was
Oh, I'm
coordinated.
sure I
I
remember
was
it happening
smacked
after.
back through the
You
middle.
shouted something. I tried to get everyone to go where I sensed the magic, but then everything just...
Yeah, I'm not sure. Or do you just bundle me up and
Let's
away?
let's just try and check one thing. I think we should do.
I don't want to.
I know you don't want to.
What would it prove?
That it is her.
But would it?
Well, all
Fine.
right, that it would give us more information. There is, at least we work with absence of information. We can get more information. Would you prefer more or less?
You tasted of original Gerhardt and look how that turned
I
out.
never got tasted.
Did you not?
No, because I had a boogly boogly that somebody put in my tummy.
We don't know that in character.
I know I don't.
Really
Stop, my friend.
I think
terms
pretty
there.
clear that the blood on my face and my hands is hers because it didn't touch anyone else. So I mean, I guess.
But Gerhard, technically you said you had already cleaned her off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but-
I've got
Not
the
from the
rag.
face.
The
Not
rag
from
is-
the face.
The rag is part.
I wouldn't let him touch my face.
It's already dried,
Mm.
and it tastes all too familiar. Cool taste.
Yeah. You Gerhard, why did you suggest that? I've been holding it together so well. 70. I
Have you
wonder
though?
what my cool is.
That's either very good or not so good.
My cool is. Oh, I turned it to dark mode. That was a bad idea. 73. Yes.
Oh!
And technically, I'm lying, so 8 successes. I'm fine. She was a dopey princess, and it's very sad, but I'm fine.
Because no one asked you that.
Shut up! Shut up, Elvin!
I'm going to my room. Bye.
You're not my real dad.
Didn't ask to be born.
The door opens, and Seaver comes in, looks at you all and says, let's retire downstairs. There's more chairs, he says, and beer.
Is there wine?
No, beer. He
I
says,
don't like.
all they have is beer. You're in Altdorf, Alamenawaith. It's going to have to be beer.
I've got
He
a
says,
bottle.
he comes down the stairs. Come, he says.
I have wine in my bottle.
I've got a bottle.
Good.
I usually have one.
Is there a bathroom?
You
I
have
can
nothing.
use?
You had all your stuff taken away from you.
I've been hanging around that place for a little while.
Yeah, you get taken away.
Gerhard now has
Little while is
finds-
like an hour.
Yeah, enough time. I've been there enough time. He finds a bottle wherever he is. Like that's,
I'll let you off
that's
with it.
very much
It's
the
talent.
position. Yeah.
As he sits down and says, I have news.
Oh.
He says, everybody sit down. You out. You out. Oh, but God, out. He says, wine. And he picks up a bottle. I'll stick with the beer. Cheers, he says, to the Grand Duke and his continued life. Says,
Oh right.
Gerhard just mouthed at Alan and went, who's the Grand Duke?
Good. Yeah.
as he takes a drink, puts it down. They made it out the North Gate. Reichsguard were not more than about 2-3 minutes behind them. But that turned into an escort. Because they got out. So, you're in a much better place than you were approximately 5-10 minutes ago. Which now leaves you with a choice as to what you want to do. I have a preference. You don't need to follow my preference. You're not my employees, but I have a preference. And that is find out what the bloody hell's is happening here. You have access to something I don't have access to. The Imperial Court. And they are going to be afraid of you. They are going to keep you very tightly monitored. Of that, there's no doubt. But I have no access at all. The Emperor is not himself. He just is not himself. I've met him twice in the past. But he is not himself. Something is rotten in that court. And what happened today, I think, is a natural outcome of that rot. Now, you have yourself a very clear remit that you can claim. It doesn't matter if you were charged specifically by the Grand Duke to look into the matter of his daughter's death. It doesn't matter. Everyone knows who you are, and everyone would expect you to do that should you arrive at the court. So, might I suggest that you do? There is obviously the far more pressing concern, the matter of our Ulrich. Your time is probably tight. You might have not more than a few days. If war is declared, you become prisoners. But until that war is declared, they will love you and do everything in their power to keep you happy. Because they're keeping Boris happy, there is a foreign army to the north. If you wish me to communicate with the Torbringers that you are acting on their behalf, I am more than happy to do so.
That solves one problem for us, thank you.
I, however, am probably going to be ordered out of here. My elect account does not like this one bit, I think for good reason. He doesn't know where I am right now, so it's very difficult for him to actually order me anywhere. But my camp is almost certainly receiving orders now, which means that they're going to be leaving without me. There's only so long I can be absentee, so to speak. But it gives us an opportunity to very quickly discuss the terrifying dangers that lie ahead of us. I do not want to be at war with my fellow men. I do not want to be doing this. I didn't return to Altdorf for this. My elect count loves it. His son is dead. He has no proof of it, no body, but he's absolutely certain of it, and he blames the Emperor. Largely because of the von Ostlunds.
Oh.
I don't know if you know the von Ostlunds?
We do.
Yes,
We've met the man.
I know.
I know.
And that is all the way back in about episode 3.
That's why we can't remember.
He was the man you met.
He was the man.
when
Was it not episode 2? Because before the side
episode 2, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Episode 2, all the way back in
When the
episode 2.
Talabekland lady
Big
got...
boy or something.
Yeah, when the Feuerbach lady, Talene, got kicked out as the boss of the imperial court, he replaced her. He's like the chamberlain or the something person.
A busybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Johnny.
runs the court.
He runs the Volkshalle.
The Volkshalle.
Yes, he runs the Volkshalle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what he runs. So, he's obviously not the best ear to be listening to, but the elect account. It's right up there.
What about
Whispering
the
away.
south? There was an explosion to the south.
Oh, no, that was an unfortunate accident. No.
Have they moved in or
Oh, they're moving out.
they're leaving?
But just making a point before they can.
No, quite the opposite. They're
Oh.
not making a point at all. It was quite literally an unfortunate accident. The furore and concern that everyone has at the potential of, well, the horror of the war meant that they had an unfortunate powder accident.
Is that right? No. I mean, I know they work with.
Yes. Yes, it is.
If you're in a rush
Yeah.
and everybody seems to
I
be
mean, it's
moving in a
badly
hurry.
timed, but the weather is good. The powder will be dry. It's very likely it could have occurred. I mean, it could have been sabotaged, but nothing great was done. I can't see any massive benefit that they gained from it. So I think, on balance, it is the most likely outcome.
Was anything destroyed?
No, not really. They just lost some powder, but not much of it either.
So not the walls.
To go back, so if war is to happen, it sounds like your elector account would side with Boris if there was sides.
Oh, he'll have his own side, and if Boris happens to be going in the same direction, he will
They would
happily be on his own side alongside Middenheim.
Can we do a quick count of who we know would ally with Boris?
Does it really matter? Right now, does it matter? All that really matters is we find out who's responsible for this and remove them as swiftly as possible, because perhaps more balanced heads can prevail. Ultimately, this war can be avoided if we have the right people in the right places. The Emperor is saying nothing, in doing nothing. His court is in a state of apoplectic. It is not ideal.
I wonder, of the groups that we know, who would benefit the most from this position.
Well, we've
Very
mentioned one of
nice
them.
No? Okay.
Now that I know I've only got one.
He thinks out loud.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, quite.
He's good, but
No, fair enough.
Do you want to ask, is Katarina dead? Is that the real?
So he says, raising his bottle, says, to our Ulrich, the Princess of Middenheim. Well, says, may their passage through the portal be swift.
To everyone who lost their lives today.
There's a on the door. Yes. Says, Sir, we haven't received official orders. He says, have you? Well, you best go. Have I seen you? No. But, of course. He says, he walks up, takes his bottle. I've not seen you. No. You bastard. He says, I told you I wanted drink. And closes the door behind him. Do you mind if I have a spot of your wine?
No, yeah, feel free.
All right. Ah, God damn it.
What do we do when and if we find someone who did this, who is...
You kill them.
Right.
Now, I think that's where I'd like to bring this conversation to a swift point. People freeze. The reason Boris got out is because the people who were inside the Temple of Ulrich froze. They should have realized the danger they were in, but he got out fast. He gathered his forces that he had prepared in his palace and then got them out faster than they could respond. Very few people act when you need to act because ultimately acting is, if I'm going to be polite about it, impolite. Acting often involves doing something improper, shouting when one shouldn't shout, charging when one shouldn't charge, stabbing, cutting throats, murdering when one should not be doing any of those things. But we are dealing with enemies, not just of the Empire, but of all that is right, which means that we murder them. We don't spare them any quarter. We don't hesitate. We don't care if they are emperors, princes, kings, or priests. If they have fallen, or if they are bringing everything down, then we murder them. This is a speech I normally don't give to my soldiers. He says, but it is a speech that I give to some of my officers, as and when is required. And this is a moment when it is required. You are going to be given access to corridors that very few gain access to. I do not have access to there, nor will I gain access to there, but you will have access, and you will at some point encounter someone responsible. Now, I am not saying that you endanger your own lives, but I am saying that if you are certain, then you do everything in your power swiftly to end it.
Sabers, just clarification.
Yes.
Under whose authority do you ask us to do this?
Under Boris.
No,
You can
we
do it
are-
under
we
any
are
authority
Boris.
you wish. I mean, I'm doing this by myself. I don't care what my elected count thinks.
That's
The
fine.
man's an idiot.
I just wanted to clarify that.
It is, he is an absolute idiot. He's listening to the Von Oslins, and that's it.
Okay.
And I know exactly what the Von Oslins are.
Do you?
Yes, I know exactly what they are. The man is surrounded by very careful individuals who are not allowing him to be... I mean, he doesn't remove himself from the court. Ever.
If that is the case, we will need some supplies and some provisions.
Well, it depends what you need. I don't have much here.
Well,
Okay.
we can't turn up to the palace looking like this.
Well, I was thinking actually we should. And
Well,
you don't
maybe.
send more of a message.
Does anybody need anything?
It would be significantly aggravating to certain members of the court that it might succeed. They would not like that. They do not like to be reminded of the brutality of their choices. They like to keep them at not just an arm's length, but preferably at a province's length. And it would be a good way of reminding them that they have been responsible for some rather bloody outcomes. Because they are. This is their territory. This is their responsibility. Yes, it happened in the cult of Ulrich. It's holy ground, which is unfortunate, but almost certainly purposeful. They chose their moment to strike. They could almost claim it wasn't them. They weren't even responsible for the security there. They got their emperor out. They got their heir out.
Do you think all we need is a coach?
George?
I
Give me a
don't.
taxi. He says, which is not the most...
Do you have any spare funds you could offer?
not a great deal, no.
I've got money, go on.
You do?
I have largely spent my...
So much money.
This baby.
You can always have more.
Between
I
us,
have
we
one.
could buy old
I do
dogs.
have one question before we go, and that is, if it was an illusion and potentially a knife man, do you think the Emperor's brother could have done that?
I met him. when was this? So we're talking 2499, 3 years before Karl Franz was crowned. And he was the Duke of Dunkelberg at the time. And he was heir to Reichland and heir to be emperor. A relatively... No, I'll go further. He was a fine man. A fine man. I liked him. I liked him quite a lot. He felt like someone who would make a good emperor. He took me aside and he had a talk about the dangers that were ahead of me. And I just recently become colonel. And I was headed south for a quite ridiculous order from my elect count, who just wanted to get rid of me. He didn't like what he considered to be an opposing voice in court, neither in his court nor in Wolfenburg. So I was sent off to the borderlands, where I proceeded to do my job. As it turns out in time, effectively, but to begin with, not very effectively. You learn on the job, often far more than you can ever learn from a book or from somebody just simply teaching you. And I liked him. He called out exactly what was happening. He explained that I was in a difficult situation. And my elect account had thrust me into a very difficult position, and he was the one that suggested to me that I recruit locally, that I recruit on my way down, and that I recruit in the border princes, and that I realized that once I move outside of imperial territory, that I have a far more lenient understanding of imperial law. That I can, for example, significantly inflate what my state army allows. I only have a single regiment. They have a fixed maximum of only 1,000 soldiers in Oxford. That's it. You cannot go higher. We follow Magnus's strictures exactly. But my army was over 25,000 strong. All imperial Ostlanders as far as they were concerned. Mostly mercenaries, truth be told, officially. But they were imperial Ostlanders. They are what I used. And as I say, it didn't go so well to begin with, but it was his idea. He was clever. And I'm going to tell you the thing that concerns me most. He would have been a terrifyingly effective emperor. And the very next year, he vanished. It took me another year to find out where he had vanished to. He wasn't declared dead. Everybody was aware that he was the heir, but he just simply vanished. A year after that, the news arrived with us down in the borderlands that he had probably entered the colleges, which means he was no longer capable to become emperor. No wizard can inherit any title. They have their own title, wizard. It is effectively a rank within the state army, which, because it's a commissioned rank, is almost the same as nobility. Almost. And that is how many of the nobles who become wizards come to accept their new status. And most of them return to court. Few of them marry them. Few of them are really worth much as far as the bloodline is concerned, because it also cuts the bloodline off. His daughter was no longer a part of their household officially. His son the same, removed from the imperial line of succession. It caused some issues for the line. His younger brother, who I had also met, and I will be charitable when I say that he had no interest at all in being emperor. He wanted to be in Null, partying with all the pretty girls. And suddenly, it was thrust upon him when his father died, just a year or so after that. And he became emperor at a relatively young age. And his rule, his reign, his distant effect upon me in the South has been, I would argue, nothing. His reign has been empty. I mean, he claims many victories, He's even attended some significant victories, but he generally attends, and later on, the stories in the papers say that he swooped down in his griffin and he personally slew everything with his hammer. Where the truth of it is that, at least from what we can hear, it's mostly his brother spinning the story. His brother behind it all. So would his brother do something like this to protect his brother? I would like to say no. But I can't for certain say no. What I can say for certain is that I am extraordinarily suspicious. Not of him, but of the fact he became a wizard. It makes me deeply concerned that there might be some method of turning someone into a wizard. And if that is the case, I would suggest it has been deployed here to take out a very capable emperor and leave us with a very incapable emperor.
Yeah.
That wasn't phrased as a question, but is it close enough?
Because that's not the first time somebody's brought that up.
Yeah.
But he's looking for a role.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
he is.
guessing that laugh means no. Yeah.
No, not really. Yeah, no.
Someone else could say, do you think that sounds likely, though?
Nope, someone could, yeah.
Fair enough.
You had your one from me.
He says, look, we all in our lives have moments where we are in a position where we can make a difference. And according to the life that we lead, that difference could be extreme, it could be small, but it's a difference. It changes things for others. But we're also in a position where we find out things that challenge everything that we thought we knew. And that just might be that your lover, in fact, has another lover. Or it might be something much more important than that. And I'm going to give you the much more important that changed my mind about certain facts and the truth of stories. In my employ, there is an elf. Her name is Imrai. Imrai Emberfell. She comes from the distant lands of Ulford, across the oceans. And as it turns out, she is rather old. And she was quite aware of what happened during the last incursion of Chaos, the Great War against Chaos. And she told me a story which I believe to be true. And that was that as Magnus was making his tour around the Empire to collect as many of the staunch defenders of the Empire as he could to march upon Kislev to hold back the impossible hordes of Chaos, but most of his feats were an illusion. He didn't do them. He just didn't. They were done by someone else. Magnus the man carried this guilt for his life. Because he was a lie. He was not pious. But the cult placed him on a pedestal for the great things that he had done. And they were not his feats. They were not his feats. Now, I bring this up because we have ourselves an emperor, a strong emperor, if we read the broadsheets, a mighty emperor who very possibly is actually a grey wizard. That all the feats of our emperor are in fact his brother's feats. His great deeds, his great acts, his great victories. That might not be true. But when I heard that, and I came to believe that about Magnus, it made me realize that these things are commonplace. History is just a story. The things we believe are fact are very rarely fact. And even the things we see ourselves, we can't be certain of. You said yourself you're not even sure if you think that Katerina was the very princess you saw be killed. And that is what I suggest that you keep in your mind. Because if he is responsible for this, you will find someone else. Because he's just better than you. He's good at this. He is a grey wizard of at least 10 years' competence and said to be one of the best of his generation. Too old to the magic, I got told by one grey wizard. He was in his mid-20s when it came to him, but past the age of 25. If he had not been part of the imperial court, he would not have been taught. They would effectively have pacified him to ensure that he was not a danger to any, but that would have been the end of his life. Both a wizard and not. That was not going to happen to the emperor-to-be, oh no. And it didn't. But coming to the grey magic later in years tends to make one political. You already have your own views. Grey wizards apparently like to teach their young apprentices that they have extraordinary power, and that brings not just responsibility, but danger. Because your own desire and will can often get in the way of what is right. And that's why they like to get them early, so they can teach them proper morality. And not morality as we understand it, not the morality of right and wrong as we perceive it, because they are often making decisions about right and wrong that lie outside of what we would consider to be moral. In the defense of the empire, for example. But that their power is dangerous. And whilst, of course, he had learned all of that, he was already convinced as emperor he had the right to do whatever he wanted. So he speaks the ropes. He says what needs to be said. I am terrified of him. If I am being as blunt as I can be, and yes, I am potentially throwing you directly into the Griffin's Maw. I accept that, and I also admit it openly to you. But I think that there is no other choice. But I do think if he's responsible, you won't find any evidence he's responsible, which of course is going to be the same as if he's not. It's far more likely there will be someone to blame. Far more likely. And judgment is going to need to be used, very careful judgment. Because who you find to blame might actually be to blame. And it might be nothing to do with him. And he might be a good man. After all of it, and for all we know, his younger brother may have turned out to be the better man. And the stories are true. And that is what I find particularly onerous and difficult about all of this. And in my time that I've been here, all I can say is that since the beginning of the year, he has not been well.
No.
He was in a wheelchair when we saw him.
Plus, as you said, he's years of being maybe a status quo emperor, and yet suddenly mutant edicts, the Uberreich invasion, seemingly from nowhere.
Yeah, it doesn't sound.
I don't know.
grand.
And I find that particularly vexatious. I prefer working from a position of intelligence, understanding what is happening. I prefer to have investigated everything thoroughly. And I have been stymied again and again. I haven't been able to access the court. I've been stuck on the outside making judgment calls based upon distant events. And they are distant. Can't be certain of any of them. You are possibly moving into a position where you can actually make a difference.
Would you be staying on the outskirts?
Unlikely. I think he's going to withdraw so that he can marshal his armies for next year.
You mentioned that you, outside the borders of the Imperial Empire,
Yes.
you can field a larger army.
Not legally, but yes.
And now that is reduced to 1,000.
Yes.
So there are.
No, there's fewer now. We're down to just, I think about 950.
Okay. But that you have potentially 24,000.
No. They've been gifted back to the Prince of Cyprus.
Right. Just wondering if there maybe been a sort of 10.
There.
It was, he had been a friend for some time, and it was my way of supporting him in what will be almost certainly a fool's errand in defending the city.
No problem. Just looking for resources.
There's one more thing. We think there may be some of our party up at the Rexport, if that was called. Yeah.
Rexport?
Is there any chance you have a spare person to send them a message?
Oh.
Who?
The barge.
Oh,
We think they might be here.
really?
Oh, he says, I've just received orders to leave, so I don't have anyone that I can give you, but it shouldn't be too difficult to just grab a cab, pop over
runner
there.
or something, right? Could be
Yes, I would have preferred someone we trust. But
code
Yeah.
message.
Yeah, I don't have anyone that I would know. I would be betraying my elect account. Because the second I receive my orders, I have to leave.
We've uncovered some things that we're not going to tell you.
Mhm.
But you should know that you, and I know you know this already, but I want to emphasize it. You cannot trust anyone, and especially not those in power. Be careful of your elected account.
Yeah, of course. He says, yeah, well, can't trust myself then. Watson, you. I'm not sure if there's anything else I can brief you on other than Aldorf's mess. It is. It's difficult. I do not recommend that you speak to the Reichsmarshal if you can avoid it, because if you get caught up in his wake, he will keep you. He will recognize you as the threat that you are and will attempt to effectively hold you in a holding position until he can be certain that the Boris threat has been removed, and then he can remove you. Or alternatively, you're the Boris threat, and he'll just keep you busy places, sending you in the wrong direction. He's a blustery man, but he's quite good at what he does.
Is there anybody in the court who you consider to be decent?
No.
No.
He says, actually, a ridiculous notion. Absolutely not. Not a single one of them. I wouldn't. I have sent my own enemies in there. I wouldn't send friends in there, but away you go.
Cheers.
He says, no, I don't honestly trust anybody in that court at all, because
useful to
I
know.
don't know who any of them are. I don't know who any of the people I've met in the past are and how they may have changed, who they've become in this new version of the city. I've been gone a decade. Here we are.
well, I'm sure if we are successful, you will hear from either Alan Benoway or.
Oh, you'll probably be on the run because you've murdered someone you shouldn't have. He says,
How will you know
Pretty
us?
like.
It says it's almost
Life
certainly
detected.
it's almost certainly a potential outcome, but if you are lucky, or possibly if you are good at what you do, there could just be someone responsible, and you find them and you highlight it to someone who is good in the court, and they are brought to justice, and none of the blame need be laid at your feet. You don't need to kill them yourself. If you can find someone you can trust who can do it on your behalf, that would almost certainly be better than doing it personally. But again, if you are in a position where you are certain and you can take that blow, I personally would not hesitate. Apologize after.
What are we going to do? Kill a princess?
Whoa, yes.
They just have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he says, I suppose I better receive my orders. Okay. He says, and on that, I don't know how long we'll be here for, but I imagine, I'm quite certain, His Royal Highness will be taking us all the way back to Tassenink, Wolfenburg. Who knows where we're going to go? We will winter, and we will return with numbers. Oh, there's a small aside. If you can't find out what happened to his son, that would be marvelous. Might keep them out of the war. I'm quite convinced that I know him. He's a brash young man. He came down to the border princes on 2 occasions to survey everything. He found the whole official forces very amusing. He has a bit of a wit, but it would not surprise me if he got himself into trouble. And it would not surprise me if he had been assassinated. It wouldn't surprise me if he had been used effectively captured so that they could claim that he was dead, use him, and then possibly, having had him with themselves for a good year or so, put him in place in power. Meaning that now their puppet is in place. It's a typical Reiklander scheme. They've done this more than once. They like to capture people, convince them to their way of thinking. Sigma. Apologies, Father, but that's generally their route, whether they believe it or not. Sigma. You've got to do everything. Oslin doesn't matter. It's all about Sigma. Far too many of our nobles over there are completely blinded by that and have ended up being significantly poorer, significantly weaker, with no navy worth mentioning, all because Reichland doesn't like the idea of a potential distant enemy. It's a classic, really. On that, he says, I think I shall go. I have orders to receive, and you're free. This house, he says, it's rented for another 2 days. If you want to use it, he says, no one's going to come knocking.
Okay, thank you.
I will warn you, though, that in the morning when they start up the forges, it stinks in hell. Absolutely stinks. So don't recommend being here in the morning. There's this big factory next door.
All right.
They've got these forges that they start in the morning, and it stinks. I think they're using urine. I'm not entirely sure. It's like a tannery, but worse. He says, so, good day to you all. He clicks his heels together, bows. He says, pleasure. Likely I'll never see you again, but if I do, hopefully they will be in better times. Says, good day to you.
Good day.
Makes his way out, backs out, and closes the door behind him. Lucas goes, well, bugger.
If we
Bugger.
don't have any time to lose, we should move now.
I need 5 minutes to clean my leg. Don't think.
Yes, that's fine.
I thought we wanted the borders.
Sorry?
I thought we wanted the alt to be visible.
So she turns to Leopold and goes, this is our Ulrich. I'm fine with that. This is some Sigmarite who got sprayed. This is the child I ran over on the way here trying to get everybody into the Midgard. I am not going around with them on me.
That's fair. I mean, that's fair, but I'd say that the weight of that crime lies on them as well, not on you. But I understand.
I rode them down. It is on me, and this is not okay.
I'll help you.
Thank you.
Lucas looks really uncomfortable. I'll fix my bags. He says, as he makes his way downstairs. Oh boy. Oh golly.
Do you wish to move so quickly?
Yes.
Yes.
We don't have any time to lose.
Give us 5 minutes.
Yes,
Come on,
of
girl.
course. Clean yourself up if you want.
I'll leave the rest.
Just need to kill the cat. I don't. If Ume doesn't know, then we can wait for Lucas to get back. But if we got whoever was responsible, and lure them into the embassy, would it technically be an imperial crime or just a Nippon crime to kill them?
Diplomatic immunity.
You literally can't commit crimes in Nepal.
Sure,
It's impossible.
but does the embassy count as Nippon?
It does under certain circumstances.
I think the thing you're forgetting, Gerhardt, is at any point we could find out that Boris has been killed. And at that point, we need to get out of the city. So as long as he's alive, we
We've
have
got
power
limited
and we
time.
need to make
Yes,
the most
and
of
also the Ulricans who are still here who are rioting might also have implications
Okay.
because we are with Boris.
So where do we want to go?
We need a grey
Paris.
wizard.
To
No.
court?
Yeah,
See, that's why I thought we should stay, have a moment, get our plan together.
we need a grey. We need someone who can try and explain some of this. Where's Grauman?
We can't trust any grey.
Not even Grauman, who you
We
were
cannot-
talking to.
Alana's down
I'll
south
be Bauman.
Right.
in Avaland. She's the only one I would trust because and even then, but we cannot trust any of them. For all we know, they could be him.
or a double.
I mean, any of them could be doubles. We know of a creature who can.
Okay, well, I'll ask the question, get to where do we want to go? So not a grey.
The palace.
No, we're going to the palace.
Palace? Yeah.
It's not a
That's all right. That's good.
conversation. We are going to the palace.
Yeah, fine.
And where she goes, we go.
She's not my employer.
And which palace?
The
Imperial Palace.
There are a lot of palaces. We've established this.
Yeah, we
People,
were at a palace.
Let's
earlier.
clarify it.
And Elric, I understand that you don't like authority and that within the group we're all friends and all that thing, but if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be. But if you're going to stay, you're gonna have to listen to what I say. I understand that you work for Boris, but I represent Boris now, here. You work for me, okay?
Do you have a contract for Boris?
I have his seal.
We have a seed. He gave it to all of us.
I have his seal because I am the Imperial Princess. And I understand you don't like this. I don't like it either. But to everyone outside this room, this is how it's going to have to be.
No, I get
okay?
it. Outside the room. But when it's us, I'll speak my mind.
And how is you reminding us that you work for Boris helpful in this situation? We all know that already. You being contrarian is not helping in this situation.
What happened? Why are you now? I know the outfit and everything, but is something? What actually happened? What's changed?
Something happened, but only they know.
Right. So can we ask the
She's
question
speaking
again?
sense, and she's speaking it confidently.
No, that's now, right? What's changed?
We have 5 minutes. When you were captured,
Yes.
no one was allowed to speak to LAWhammer, not even the father. No, and there was no one to try and save you, so I took on the mantle because they couldn't refuse me once at least.
So are you now back in? I thought you were banished. How does this?
It's complicated. They're too far away, / they can't deny me my imperial blood, is the short answer.
We realized, God, that when we lost you, we lost our noble leader. And that
Yes.
it's not a joke, it's just fact. And when you returned to us, we knew that you couldn't be that because you're a Jungfreund. So you couldn't, just as you said, you didn't want us to be the Jungfreund Jägers anymore because your name was dangerous. Ume had to go into that camp as the princess and do what she needed to do. And then it just makes sense for her to continue it because she's a ranking person. She outranks everyone. Full stop. Except if we perhaps meet the Emperor. And even then, she can give it a good go.
Piers, at least.
Yeah, all he has is home field advantage.
And she's not the Empress. She's just the heir.
Yes.
So
Is that what you wanted to do?
It is now. It is my decision. I chose it. I thought it was the best plan to go forward. And when we got to LAWhammer, we found out that there was a High Inquisitor of the
Order of the Cleansing Flame.
Cleansing Flame who was there, who had claimed you to interrogate you.
Yes. No, I met that man.
Well,
Not a
he
pleasant
wanted
fellow.
to torture you.
No, I know.
And Ume stopped it.
And essentially, you were treated as a noble.
That's when it all changed. That was you.
Yes.
Right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
You showed me the tools. Not a fun thing.
No.
Not a fun thing at all.
And it would have put all of us in danger as well. You know.
No, I know. I would have given I started talking before.
I already told him everything.
I'm in my mate Elric. Don't worry, he only channels 2 wins. It's fine.
You can see all the others though.
Yeah, totally. Oh, but we haven't got the tools out yet.
Don't worry, I've written it all down.
Signed it. There you go.
Yeah, to be fair, that was the pre-stream conversation before you arrived of, break a strain of a Kit Kat. So,
And so to summarize, Ume being the Imperial Princess gives a modicum of protection to us that we simply do not have without her.
So we've got 2 layers. We've got Boris and we also have Yume.
Yes.
Right. So-
And I'm known in the court as much as I didn't really interact with many people, but
No, I mean, we were there. We've been there.
As Lucas comes in, got my bags.
Oh.
He says, he looks around. You all look very somber.
Oh,
And then the blood. Yes,
and
fair enough. Sorry, appropriate.
whilst we're here, Lucas, I hired Lucas as well because he was in need of an employer.
Lucas looks really uncomfortable.
It was gonna have to be a discussion at some point, Lucas.
We figured that your father probably, well, we know he knew all along,
Sure.
and so he never intended to pay Lucas.
And so the money he has sent, he now wants back.
Okay. If that's the case, I mean, I would have liked to been asked, but I can understand the position.
The whole jail thing was a bit of an issue.
you were
Yeah, no,
indisposed.
yeah,
He
fine,
comes in, sits down.
fine. As I said, I understand the position. So if that's the case, then I thoroughly suggest, if he's after the money back, Lucas, then you spend it as much as you can.
Oh, my family will have to deal with that because they're there.
Oh, that's where the money's gone.
Yeah.
Right, don't worry about them. We'll tell
Yeah.
them to spend it.
Yeah. Well, they almost certainly have.
Good.
Already.
Yes.
Oh, so you don't work for me anymore?
Not strictly, no.
We can be friends.
Oh.
That's good.
Oh.
Well, technically, you've never
I've
worked
actually been rather worried about it, sir.
All right. Why?
Well, you know. I'm
You
sorry.
can be a bit of a dick.
No.
Can
No,
we
quite
go
the
to a
opposite.
break, please?
Quite the opposite.
Bursting.
He says, no. So, are we going to the court then?
Yes.
Right. Well, let us go to the court.
Hello, I'm Ed. I play Gerhardt. This is LAWhammer. It's the break. While you're on break, go over to our Discord. Follow that stuff. Like if you're watching this on YouTube. Is there a break on YouTube? Yeah,
You're a
there's a
break
break
on
on
YouTube.
YouTube. I'm a break on YouTube. If you have the time and energy and cash, go over to Patreon. A large portion of that's free. Rules, maps, some nudie photos of me hidden somewhere. Yeah, that's right. Go check it out. And then behind the paywall is the nudie photos of everybody else. Lovely stuff. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Welcome back to our glorious heroes who are currently covered in blood, half of them, spattered all over with the offerings from a particular high priest, well, our Ulrich himself, a host of various wedding goers, because what better to happen at a wedding than murder, most horrid, and of course, the princess of Middenheim. Blood smeared down Alamedawi's face. She definitely hasn't been crying. So, with all of that, our 6, plus Lucas, glorious heroes are crammed into 2 taxis that are making their way up the Imperial Mound towards the palace itself, which has huge walls around it. And you know, at the very back has the great botanical gardens, which the Emperor is known for presumably not taking a stroll in, but a wheel nowadays. This is somewhere you've been multiple times. Somewhere that you recognise. It's got a big open square in front of the main palace itself, surrounded by the walls, and a big barracks up there where the Rights Guard, the Imperial First Regiment of Foot, a whole variety of others are held. Beyond that is the palace itself, which is just an absolute mixture of different halls, chambers, ballrooms, and adjoining it to the side is the Volkshalle. The Volkshalle sets off as its own separate building, and that is where all of the great matters of state for both the Reichland and the Empire take place. When, in the rare occasions of late at least, the Emperor doesn't live in Altdorf, it's just the Reichland that holds all of its court here and handles all of its laws here, but with the Emperor being Karl Franz himself. All the Empire gathers here, and indeed the Prime Estates from across the Empire, which is some almost 1,000 lines of various nobles, ascend here and do big votes on big important things like new edicts coming from the Emperor. The Mutant Edict, for example, which did not pass the Prime Estates. The Prime Estates, they said no, meaning that it was not enforceable anywhere. The Emperor's powers are massively curtailed. He does not have a great deal of power, except he's got tons. Massive amounts of influence. And when it comes to matters of war, the Empire goes to war. The Empire, not Reichland, the Empire. He can call upon all the other states. Very likely, if it comes to civil war, he might do the same. Because why wouldn't you? The Empire is being destabilized. So as you're making your way up there, is there any special preparations that I should be aware of?
I have 2 questions for Lucas.
Yes, 2 questions for Lucas. Right, yes, of course, ma'am.
One of them is, do you think we can bluster our way into being guests at court? Like, can we get rooms
I
there?
really don't recommend that, no. We wouldn't like to be in the palace list. No. We want to be on the outside.
Do you,
Because if, for example, the worst should occur, ma'am, and Boris falls ill, let's say that, we would likely fall ill that night too. But that won't happen if we're elsewhere.
But is there somewhere safer?
well, we've got that townhouse for 2 days.
And, of course, we've also got the embassy, ma'am. I think it would be very difficult for them to easily attack the embassy. They wouldn't,
Yes.
unless, of course, they did. Like they did, for example, at the New Year.
I guess we still have time before they hear back from my mother, so technically we could stay. Okay. And then the other question is, would it make our life easier to go around asking questions if we manage to get the, what's her name, the Supreme High Law Lord, the
His eyes widen. You going to speak to the Supreme High Lord?
if she appointed us as
Agatha Bourne.
investigators of some sort, perhaps.
Well, I
then-
highly doubt you're not part of the cult. You don't need any authority. You've got an elect account behind you, Mom. I think what you don't realise, Mom, is that you have the authority of an elect account. You don't need to be appointed by anyone. You are already more important than anyone that she could appoint. As a High Law Lord, she is beneath you.
And we certainly don't.
She would advise you.
Yeah.
But would she advise me correctly?
Well, I see no reason why she would not.
Well,
Are you-
everyone thinks that the Prots did it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. And plus, who's to say who anyone is? But assuming that she is who she is, and well, it all gets frightfully complicated. But assuming we uncomplicate it and it's simple, then yeah, I mean, she would be a relatively good source of law.
I think we should uncomplicate it by agreeing 5 initial individuals and 3 questions to ask them. So, and Lucas, I would suggest that you act as herald.
Oh, yes, of course. Oh, I don't know the proper terms.
I'm shouting. you act as herald.
I was gonna say because
yeah.
No,
if I'm not in the carriage.
It's battle tongue. We're going. I don't know the signs for that.
He has calculating. Would that help with that?
Calculating? Calculating means that you won't be taking stress from things that are going towards your long-term goal.
Okay, cat tongued.
He's a good liar.
What I'm thinking is that it will be really easy to go in here and ask all the wrong questions.
Yes.
They'll let us in, we'll ask things, and we'll get nowhere.
And to the wrong people.
And to the wrong
Yes.
people. So
Okay.
I don't know. But there's certain people I think we must avoid. And that is the Reichsmarshal, but also anyone friends with him.
Yes.
So Iris Gorman we should avoid. Schwartzhelm potentially we should avoid.
Do you think you? Oh, I don't know if you. If you're there,
Well, you can just... The discussion
Yes.
presumably took place before you
Yeah.
taxied up.
if Cyrus Gorman does bully his way in, do you think you could distract him long enough for us to?
Maybe. I just wouldn't trust anything that he says.
Sure.
Do we want to speak to Frederick von Oslin? I mean, he knows us. Well, we parted on not bad terms, I think, thinking back to episode 2.
And,
It was a
and,
long time ago, episode 2.
and do we... Yes, I think the questions are key.
Exactly.
What do we exactly want to know? We can't rock up and say, so, who's responsible for all these murders then?
Well,
That only
why-
works in the penny
we
dreadfuls.
have to avoid them, but why can't we just question the groom?
We should.
What do you remember?
Well,
Just keep
So,
it vague.
witnesses.
Information.
and
Witnesses.
who were the
there?
invitees to the Reichlands?
Was he told anything?
Mm.
Of where he should stand, what he should do, anything that seemed unusual to him? Or just anything? Because we could tell a lot from what he and others were told in advance and by whom.
And there must be a guest list for the Reichland side of things.
So for the guests, I think we need to find as many guests as possible, but especially with him first.
And we want them all in the library, because that's always good.
Do we not immediately, but at some point, want to return to the scene to see if there's anything that can be gleaned there, or we're not?
And then we could tape it off.
It depends. Well, the Ulrictime should let us in, right?
The Ulrictines might be arrested. The whole temple's probably shut down. I think we probably want to go to the palace first because that means we would
definitely
have.
going to the palace.
Because we're looking to have
And
them
if-
accept our authority.
And if we were to ask who would shut off the temple, would it be on whose authority? The Reichsguard, the Reichsmarshal, the
It's
Law
on-
Lord?
I mean, ultimately, it's going to
Time guard.
be the prince, I presume.
Right.
I mean, it will be ultimately his authority that is going to be used to do this because it's it's the High Temple of Ulrich. Well, the North Temple at least, but nevertheless, it's the High Temple of Ulrich. And shutting that down that's a dangerous choice to make, which inevitably is going to be made, which means they're going to want to have the prince supporting it.
Can we consider that we know the politics? Know the politics.
Pardon?
The positions in the Reichland Council.
So the Reichland Council, you can presume you know all of it because it's been passed on to you by either him or Yumi.
Yeah.
Both of whom know them.
There's a position on the Reichland Council, the High Lord Steward, who's the only man legally allowed to judge a crime committed by the Lord of a Reichland estate. We should hold that in mind should we find out that a Lord of the Reichland is responsible, because it's him that we would appeal to.
Yes. And much like Gerhardt can't be tried by anyone other than his father can't be tried by anyone except for the Lord Constable, not even the Emperor can try him. In Reichland, each one of the prime estates...
No, the High Lord Steward. The High
Steward,
Lord Constable is responsible, confusingly, for heraldry.
For heraldry. I always get them confused. I mean, it's Altdorf, Reichland nonsense. I come from Midland. But anyway, as I was saying, they are responsible for the very rare occasions where a lord would come up. But I don't think they've done that for like a century. I don't think any lord has actually been accused of a crime that's actually got to court for over a century.
What did they do for Gerhardt's father?
Well, they don't. Quite.
Until he.
But, I mean, if it came to it, it would require his imposition to try him in any way. Without it, he's sovereign. I mean, the great mistake many people make about Reichland is thinking that the prime estates are not powerful. They're extraordinarily powerful. Each one of the prime estates has absolute right and authority within their own individual lands. Now, they might have their own individual laws that limit that to a degree, but some of them, there are no limits. I mean, there's one princedom, gosh, I can barely remember, Honorreich, I think it's called, or something like that. A principality, anyway, that's down the River Reich. And they have absolute authority over everything. That's even more absolute than Boris Tobringer's up in Middenheim, because he has to at least make a law before it's law, and they do not. In this particular principality, whatever they say is the new law. They have people following them around, taking notes.
That surely
pressure.
backfires.
Well, almost certainly.
So this High Lord Steward, he can't arrest Gerhardt or anything. We're fine on that count because he's with us.
Yes. I mean, but unless, of course, they decide that they're at war, then they'll just arrest whoever they want.
But
it does become potentially problematic. I would suggest that we move as swiftly as we can. I'm a little bit, I'll admit to being anxious.
do we go speak to LAWhammer first? Does the father? Do you go speak because he does not like me?
It's likely we might not get to him for days.
Yes.
He's a busy man in charge of a very powerful order. And if they're looking to give the runaround because of the awfulness of the situation it's in, I mean, we might get nowhere. What you want is people who don't expect to be called upon,
Like
who are
Wolfgang.
going to be
Yes.
Wolfgang. It's
We
a
should-
funny thought.
we
but
should
yes,
take
I think
some
probably
party.
yes.
Who
With
else
us.
was there that we saw who was at the front? Did anyone see anyone else of note? Was his
Emperor.
mother was there? His mother was there?
She was further back, I think.
Yeah, but she was still there.
Yes.
She was there, yes.
And she would have noticed any.
Or maybe she would have known. She would have been told to do stuff rather than him.
Would it be the High Lord Constable who would have looked after the right people to make sure they would come to the wedding? If she's about the genealogy and the heraldry and placing people in the right places so not to offend other houses because you're placing other ones above other ones, etc.,
Well,
etc.
it depends. Was it a wedding between Middenheim and Reichland, or was it a wedding between Middenheim and the Emperor's heir? Because if it was the latter, no, she wouldn't have. And if it was the
latter.
former, yes, she would.
It's the latter.
So no, she wouldn't have done.
No, she wouldn't have done.
Fine, and that's been her.
And did anyone else recognize people? Did Ume recognize anyone before?
Oh, the people are there.
Yeah.
Not really. Not from the position she was in, near the front, looking forward. The few that you are aware of already. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got our names.
Yeah.
We know our people.
Okay.
I wasn't.
But-
I wasn't sure if you had a relationship or your parents.
But
did
yeah,
with
there was a
that.
lot of white wolves there. There was a lot of
Yeah.
nice panther there that wearing the blinking helmets.
But presumably,
That's why my face is less bloody than the rest of me.
looking at the list of the core court functionaries that are not the Reichland Council, but are the Emperor's Council,
Mhm.
the only two people who might have organised things are, well, it wouldn't have been the Grand Theogenist, and it wouldn't have been the Grey Guardian,
No.
and it wouldn't have been the Supreme Patriarch,
No.
it wouldn't have been the Reichsmarshal, and it
No.
wouldn't have been the Lector.
High
So that
Chamberlain.
only leaves the
High
the High Chamberlain, Ulana Velton, or Frederick von Ostland, or whoever Baroness Lotta Hoxvall is.
Well, she's the Chancellor of the Fisk, matters material.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's
She may very well have organised.
I wasn't sure if it's Feuerback.
No, she's gone.
She's got.
Oh,
that.
she's
She's gone, replaced by Von Oslo.
But wouldn't it have been? Does it count as matters ambassadorial if you're dealing with Middenheim?
Very
No.
possibly.
Because in
Well,
so in which case
Well,
it would
I
be
was-
Alana Velton, the
But
High Chamberlain.
It's matters foreign to the Empire.
Well, I was-
because she's on the Imperial Council, not
Yeah.
the Reichland
I
Council.
Oh, yeah.
So if it was the Reichland Council, it would, but on the Imperial Council, it wouldn't. Because it's
As I've been trying to ask for a number of minutes,
Yeah.
have you or your parents ever met Ulana Velton? Because obviously from Foreign Affairs.
Alana Velton,
chances are-
absolutely. Alana Velton
So you might have her
is,
name now.
although she is a Wiesenlander, she has a Nordlander accent. Her husband is an ex-general and also an ambassador of the Empire, and they are known, very known, for hating each other with a passion that means neither will attend court if the other is there. And
Wow.
that is in a city. So, for example, if one or the other is known to be in said city, the other tends to leave. They don't like to make a fuss about it. They just go. Yeah, nice. He's, as far as you're aware, been appointed as ambassador once or twice in the past, and has returned again to military service to keep away from his wife.
So his wife is probably here because
Yeah,
he's okay. And she might have like a heraldry up if she's in or something.
Absolutely. He'll
Yeah.
probably be up in the palace.
Because I mean, you can just say, "Bring me whoever arranged the guest list," and tell them to
that's
bring
a
the
good
list
idea.
with us, with them. You can do that. Yeah, you're a
You arrange the
princess.
guest list. Who arranged the seating?
Yeah. Who swept the palace? Who swept the temple to make sure that it was clear?
Who
That
was in
might-
the room where it happened?
Yes.
I
In the
feel
room
like-
where it happened.
Do you have an
the room where it
alibi?
happened.
Yeah, if we ask
Bernie's stepping into her own.
like check the place
Bernie's
ahead of
found her
time.
place. She's loving this.
But yeah, we could
Skaven
have them
politics.
summon whoever did
I mean,
the
I
right-
imagine-
She'll get them in a room, stab them.
And the
Yeah.
Orlicans, because it's an Orlican temple.
Yeah, because
imagine.
it would
But
either be
you
that.
imagine doesn't mean.
But it's worth checking. It's worth confirming. Yeah.
Alrighty.
How are we? Are we just going in, waving the seal and saying we've got questions?
Like,
A little firework.
You're meant to cover under the table.
and cough.
I don't usually drink stuff like this, so I didn't know it would make that noise.
Have we heard anything about what happened to the local Ulrictines? Because I think that's something we want to find out.
You know nothing.
Like,
Literally nothing.
we want to find out
It's just good to
what's
know.
happened to the like father of the North Temple, the High Father of the North Temple.
Given what you saw on the way out, it's likely they're all dead.
Yes.
But if any of them are
We
not,
could be wearing him for all
if any of
we
them
know.
are not, it might be good
Yeah.
to speak to them.
Yeah.
It's probably a good idea as well to see who did die. Because I don't know about you, but if I was at a wedding and one of my family members was cut down,
Betrothal.
betrothal, bless you, I would be rather annoyed.
We could also ask
that's
for a
something
list
to
of the
leverage.
dead then, while we're asking.
Yes.
Oh, so you're
we can
suggesting
compare the
some of
two.
the other casualties may have been intentional casualties?
Yes, I am
people-
suggesting that.
Yes.
Oh,
It would be a great cover, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Yeah,
that's good. So
you
yes,
saw
we
a
need
lady
a
get
guest
put
list.
down for no reason.
Yeah, there was a few of those.
Okay.
And some of those may have been senseless acts of violence, but some of them may have been
Targets.
calculated.
Good
So-
way to
So
clean
a
house
guest
little bit.
list, a
Yeah.
casualty list,
That's what I would do.
Yes.
any survivors from the Ulricans, and then talk to the witnesses that we can.
Okay. And so when
Alone.
we walk in, Lucas, you announce us? I don't.
He says,
don't
I
get to
can
use
make something up.
intimidating
Yes,
often enough.
I'm sure. It'll be fine.
And do
Luke,
you ask for these
Gosh.
things?
Ah, he says, I suppose so.
Do
What am I asking for?
Who arrange a guest list, a list of casualties, and then information on who arranged the
There's no
guests.
point asking that unless we get somebody who can provide it.
Yeah,
So,
of course.
We
but
asked for that first.
So who are we asking
who
for?
are we asking?
We asked for the person who made the arrangements and tell them to bring a guest
So-
list.
so I fear that if we ask for anyone who's not specified,
They'll send
we
us the
won't see
rights
them
marshal.
today.
Right.
let's
Or worse, yes, we will be sent to someone who is appointed to fix this sort of thing. We go to the Reichsmarshal, and then he just sends us on a gallop.
Let's
Around
right.
the
We
house.
can't give a list in advance. So we know one person we definitely want to see. That's Wolfgang. Let's ask for him first
Okay.
and see what he tells us.
Right, so we're just going to ask for the Imperial heir.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
fine.
fine.
And
This will
we're
be
gonna go-
fine.
Let's go big.
A good idea. If somebody starts to sort of throw up any sort of, oh no, we can't do that, you may very loudly, fully Nipponese, just start shouting. Lucas, you obviously convey how annoyed the Princess Highness is.
Yes, of course.
And
And
I will look
she's
as
clearly
intimidating as
distressed.
possible.
Yes, it'll throw people right off.
Good
Yes,
idea.
I mean, shouting is a little improper, but
Okay,
Your mother would be appalled.
rage
In
muttering.
fact, you even speaking would be enough to be to make her
yeah, but that's
appalled.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, quite. Normally, you'd
Yeah, I think my face would say it all.
Really?
Maybe
Yeah.
in
You've got-
Japanese culture, but maybe not.
But
in
Lucas
other-
can tell them.
Translate.
yes, of course, I can.
Have a secret signal. It's like, I am now doing annoyed face.
I don't think I'll need a secret signal. I'll see her face.
Yes.
It would be a public signal. So
Don't leave our face.
so to speak,
And,
a
and
face.
are we just going to ask him what he remembers happened? That we're
Yes, should we
investigating
bring-
the death of his betrothed on behalf of the Elector Count of
I
Middenheim.
mean, he will presumably be appalled, but from what we had, might also be secretly delighted because he did not seem to be entirely happy about the whole betrothal.
I think his mother
we
could
should bring some pudding with us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying.
Yeah,
Should we
it's
bring
apple
that again?
strudel. Apple strudel,
Yes.
that's what he was having.
Oh, that's a marvelous idea. Ah, you can tell you're a people person, Father.
Stop off on a bakery on the end.
Exactly.
I give up.
Striding covered in blood. 5 of your
apple
best
strudel,
noodles, please.
I
Rat
already
pie.
said that already.
Did you? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, ma'am.
It's all right. I'm used to it.
I think,
I think
based,
it goes over everybody's heads because I'm so tall.
but also based on who he is and how he behaves, we probably want his mother as well.
Separately, though.
Yeah.
He might not talk if she's there.
No, I don't. Yeah, not
He
together.
means
but
after.
I don't know if he'll know
It happened again, yeah.
much.
Just can't go separately though. Yeah, I don't want to do it at the same time. Yep.
Pardon, did you say something, ma'am?
No, it's fine.
Might help if you raise your hand. Birdie has something to say.
The Empire. Or Ulricin.
Oh,
Too
many fingers!
She's a mutant!
Yeah.
Ulrich, the god of rock.
Or Imperial Ostlander who opened the door.
Quite.
Yeah, that's nice.
So,
What's the title, by the way, for the Imperial heir? Is it just
He's Prince of Dunkelberg.
yeah, he's officially the Prince of Dunkelberg. And yeah.
Your
Prince?
Royal Highness?
And
Ulrich?
Followed by
I'm
your-
so glad I don't have to do this anymore. Like, it's all here now.
Yes, I know.
It's the
Your
best, isn't
Royal
it?
At least she knows
Highness
As
followed by-
the Crown Prince of Reichland. No, he's not the Crown Prince of Reichland. Yes, he is. Crown Prince of Reichland.
Jim.
Aldorf is
so
what,
Your Royal Highness and then
Luke
Sir.
does.
Jim Dunkelberg.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Your Royal Highness
Great.
and then Sir.
Your Royal Highness and Sir.
But technically, she's of equal rank to him, so she.
Just don't call him Your Royal
She
Highness.
would-
Yeah,
but-
Because
absolutely.
he'd call her at the
Well,
time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he definitely will.
And
We'll
she'll
make sure of
be
it.
your Imperial Highness then.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yes.
By Imperial.
I will.
Is that how we
Both,
should
both
refer
going
to
to
you
be easy to intimidate.
when we're in company as well?
Probably
Imperial
because-
Majesty the first time and then Mom thereafter.
No, your Imperial Highness.
Imperial Highness.
Mm.
Highness.
Yeah, in
I'm not
Reichsburg.
good at this stuff. That's why I'm asking before.
He doesn't see gender.
Literally.
Literally, yeah.
It's not a question. It's not that women.
Alan,
get
we
to
don't
be
have time,
Highness,
Alan.
Majesties are
Ticking
men.
time bomb.
Stomps out to the taxi. We're going!
Mount up.
All right, so the taxi is to the palace. This is, of course, the most illustrious of methods for getting to the Imperial Palace. You are indeed rocking up in a taxi. Cab, all right, go to the palace. Sure.
Covered in blood. He's just gonna, yeah.
Should we mix the blood covered with the clean? Oh, it's only just me. Me and Ger are the only clean people, right?
Yeah, no, yes.
Okay, fair
Excuse me,
enough.
sir. I
How
like to
did
think
you
of myself.
manage to leave without getting like covered?
Stayed near Boris. Kept my head, kept my
That's-
bearings.
Boris was really close to our Ulrich, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, really close to our Ulrich.
But he moved away.
He did.
Yeah.
Our Ulrich went that way.
Basically,
Oh,
he
to be
was-
fair, yeah.
Yeah.
We all flew.
And then he was
Boris was
opened
covered
up.
in blood,
Yeah.
but he was leaving the palace.
He's so big
You,
that he
you use
hid.
Boris as a shield to keep
Well,
you
I was
dry,
like,
that's what you're saying.
there's one person who knows what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow that man.
As we're on the way there, I shall turn to you. I'm assuming we're in the same cab, and so, as your guard, where do you want me?
Strictly speaking about his bodyguard.
It
It's
is
important.
annoying.
There's a difference. Guard locations, bodyguards guard people.
Where would you like me?
I'm
It's
assuming
important.
there's a position that like behind me to my
2 steps.
left or something. I don't know.
Right, because she's right-handed,
Right.
so she can get around you.
Yes.
And say the word, and I will do whatever you need me to do.
Thank you.
This is not going to be terrifying. This is going to be fine. We're just going to the Imperial Palace to demand to speak to the Imperial heir.
Yeah.
On the authority of someone who is possibly.
Maybe dead.
Well,
And-
don't say that, Mum.
And if all else fails, tell him you're his bastard.
Oh God! He looks around. Oh God!
When else will we get to throw a weight around in an imperial palace?
I'm not as big as you. I don't have that much weight. I'm not covered in armor.
Be fat. I'm not having a good
Yeah,
day.
you're covered in armor. You're very
You are
heavy
se-
in
you are
comparison
7
to me.
I'm 6'7", I wish.
By the way, probably Lucas and Alan, but all of you maybe. I need a signal for when like I have to like use my weight because I have a tendency to just be like, no, it's all right. I'm not threatening you. It's fine. So
And the best thing to do is to allow someone else to speak on your behalf.
yes.
I think
Everybody looks at Lucas.
Lucas just shrinks.
But Seaver said that we should aggravate the court.
Yeah.
We're going
And
to aggravate
if there's
the court
anyone
by
who's
our
good
mere
at aggravating
presence.
people, it's me and the good
They
doctor.
are the
No,
prime
no,
aggravators.
no, I
That's-
think you'll find that
We need a
what
split piece, right? And I agree. I know what you're going to say. So,
Do you though?
yeah, no, It's very obvious. So you have your standards, your political envoy, your good talkers, all that sort of stuff. You represent Sigma. You are a good bodyguard. You have your talk. You have Lucas, right? All very good. Alaminawith, famously throws people off through various means, and you know what those means are, right? Okay, I'll say it. Raw sexual power.
Oh my!
Nobody prompted that.
Raw sexual power.
That's
just to lighten the mood.
100%.
That's on the way to
And
the
there has to be a clip as well.
Great. Well, now I
love
don't
it. I love
necessarily.
his conviction now.
Now I don't necessarily care who I am or anything like that. So I'm just a free agent. I'll figure out whatever I can
Well,
do.
you're not, because people still think you're
Yeah, but there is sure,
Yeah.
certainly, but I am not him anymore. So I can behave in an entirely different way that doesn't necessarily mean anything because I'm not anyone.
Well, but you will get us kicked out.
And the implications upon the
That's fine.
house.
Yeah, so just to be clear, I'm going to say what you knew I was going to say anyway. What Colonel Sievers meant by aggravate the court was be there at all in blood-stained clothes.
Yes.
And investigate the thing that
And-
wants to sleep under the rug.
Between the
protect the
lines.
That was it. And that was it.
No,
No more.
He looked at me and said, "Raw sexual."
He does not.
No, you looked
Yeah.
at him and thought raw sexual power. That's a totally different
That's very true.
That's what you don't know, Ed, is that you and I pretty much caused this wedding to happen by annoying
No, my
we?
apologies.
Yeah.
Yes.
we put him so on edge
Oh yeah, we
that he was
fucked
like,
him
fuck
off.
it, just agree.
That's true.
So
yeah. Wicked.
Yes.
Okay, so that works.
So we'll call that Plan B.
Yeah, and you can
plan C is throw fireballs everywhere, kill the
Yes.
courts.
Yes.
You can time it. Let's go. Let's do it.
We're good.
Natural bombs, basically.
So
We're all gonna die.
So the political petrol bombs are in one corner. The I want to know when to have my weight thrown is over there. The I will stand at your shoulder. The raw sexual power is there. And the father with his hands in his bloody rags is there.
seriously, if you do need to speak, Lucas or I will just cough
And
like that. If you
sure?
think she should
as if she should actually
stamp her
speak
foot
herself.
down.
Oh right.
Right, so
Just look for bidding.
no, this will be fine. He says, "This is oh God, we're going to the Imperial Court and we're going to demand. This is going to be fine.
What choice do we have?
No, none,
Mhm.
none. Just think of it like that. This is why we're here. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. This is why we're here. This is." You taxi to the Imperial Palace, and you're dropped off on the main street outside, the main big huge gates, which have got large, spouty, gargoyle-like mouths sitting in equal spaces all the way around the top of the wall where clearly they can spout stuff if they wish to do so down onto the streets. The gates themselves are open, the portcullis is up, and you can just go straight in if you happen to be allowed straight in. They did not know you were coming, nor did they expect that anyone coming in a taxi to the palace is likely to be admitted to the palace. They indeed think you're far more likely to be, much like many of the people who have come to the palace, sightseers. Or alternatively, protesters, of which there are several, but they're not rioting. Aldorf, somewhat known for its riots, today has got other problems elsewhere to deal with. But there are still some who've managed to come up to the palace to basically wave their placards, and you'll be very happy to know that it is mostly along the lines of Middenheim sucks.
Wow.
Now, that is a somewhat out of character way of saying that they also can't spell. So I'm translating what they're saying to, loosely speaking, Middenheim sucks. Down with Ulrich.
And that
Wal-
sort of thing.
Wolves are booed. Because wolves are notoriously
booed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're notoriously booed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Skying the wolves.
Nice.
Skying all the wolves.
What?
Oh,
Skying
right.
the wolves.
Skying
Skying all the wolves.
Yeah.
No, they all need to be skined.
Hung them
Um,
and skying them.
And
I can't even.
these, which in some cases clearly look like they might very possibly just be paid agitators, clearly here to show that they are supporting the emperor in his anti-northern policies. Fortunately, you didn't turn up in a coach with the Middenheim heraldry on it. It was just a crappy taxi. As you drop out, covered in blood, looking somewhat of a mess. A night of blood down her face, tear stains.
Just keep the meter running, mate. You're
You're
right back.
A Nipponese princess, covered in blood. She got drenched badly down that side. A completely, almost politically sound Bright Wizard. You're looking great, looking good. Someone who's been not in this part of the palace, but in another part of the palace very recently.
Yes.
It looks a little bit like he slept in his clothes, because he did. But you look all right. All right. Blood, and blood! Sigmar blood. All right, blood, really. It's all good.
Why not both?
It's fair to say you were a very weird-looking crowd, with Lucas standing before you all with his eye patch going, this will be fine. This is fine. I'll go forward and I shall address the guards, and I shall make sure that it's clear that I speak on behalf of...
Good luck, Lucas.
It says,
You'll be fine.
right, I didn't want to say this beforehand. He said, before I go up, it's very likely that he might be dead. And if that's the case, you'll know because they'll arrest me. Run. Says,
He being the graph.
no, yeah. It's fine.
Can I do a leadership test just on that? Good luck. Just to see if I can give him an
Yeah,
advantage.
go for it.
Why not?
Yeah, nice.
Yours to command anymore.
No, it's not. That's why I didn't.
Yes, right. Here we go.
Try and keep me in eyeline, Lucas.
It says,
Because
Yeah.
you'll get extra layers of cool.
yeah, I can't. This person.
I can edge round.
We'll throw you over the guards so he can see
Slides
you.
in.
Loom over him.
No, stay back. Stay back.
I'm staying with you, mate. Oh, sorry.
As he goes up, and he's not more than about 20 paces away, and he's speaking to one of the guards dressed in the outdoors uniform. He looks well. You can hear them talk. Lucas. Yes, and we bear the seal of Midnight. We're here to investigate what happened to Princess Katerina, and we demand to speak to the Emperor. Well, I mean, it's almost certainly not going to get access. And he knows it.
Aim high.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly.
Yeah, why not?
This is the passes it over. We are here on behalf of the Grand Duke. Do you understand what that means? He says, it's the Grand Duke of Middenheim, Elector Count, who is here to find out what happened to his daughter who was brutally murdered in this city. So above his pay grade, he's out of there.
Nice.
It takes about another 2 minutes before someone comes over. And you can hear this one quite clearly, sharp-eared pair, as you're sitting on the outside looking like a really dodgy lot. He says, well, what exactly is this? He says, apparently you're here. He says, to speak to the Emperor. And you claim to be excuse me. He says, who are you? Go straight back. He says, my name is Colonel Humford of Amchinsea. Says, Colonel of the 1st Regiment of Foot. Don't you know? Who are you? He says, I am the representative of Her Imperial Highness, the Princess of Nippon. What? He says, who, in turn, bears the seal of Middenheim. Well, we should probably, do you think they want a bath? He says, so,
Cheeky.
I mean, Bob. No. They bear the bloody wounds of the terror that they witnessed today. They will not be washing it off so easily, sir. Not until they find out exactly what happened in that temple. Oh, I hear it was quite bad news. He says, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you heard. I will speak to the Emperor. All right. Well, perhaps you could invite a party and says, I'll pass word up, see where it goes. I will speak to the Emperor, or I will speak to the Chamberlain of the Palace. Which is it to be? I'd like to say probably easier to be the second. I mean the first. I don't care. Get moving. And he turns around and says, nothing more than a nod.
We process.
Walk it.
Good standing.
Yes.
You look very impressive.
Stern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I fall in behind.
So, on the inside of the great muster ground that lies before the main palace, and you can see the main palace sitting across over there, all the various barracks that are to either side. Last time you were here, you met with a certain Gouser who was up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was happy to see me.
No, he wasn't.
We could see him again.
Yay! I mean, that would work quite well, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Last time you were here, you were with your parents. Last time you were here, Gerhardt, rather than elsewhere, you were a lot younger.
Yep.
Wearing green velvet in the company of your father.
That's that.
Long time ago. Yeah.
Was it me?
Anyone who attends the Volkshalle is supposed to wear green velvet.
Oh.
Anyone of rank, at least. Not to servants. But they don't count as anyone. Because they don't. It's just the way that it is. And you are escorted in through a side door, along a long corridor, which is checkerboarded, blue and red on the floor. Along that really bright floor. Down a set of stairs, up another set of stairs, down another set of stairs, and then led through a hall which has hammers hanging down, upside down. A good 200 or 300 of them. Each suspended by golden chains. Some of them occasionally chink as you pass your way through there. And you are led to a withdrawing room. It's a room you have never been in your life. Your mother used to sometimes be taken off to these other strange places, but not you.
Yay.
You are so using your rank wrong here. But hey, you're exiled.
Yeah. It can't go back to them. They've exiled me already.
Exactly. What could they do?
Yeah.
Yeah. And strictly speaking, you know, underneath it all, your mum can't actually exile you. She's not of the Imperial line.
Plus, also, this Imperial seal needs to see places. It needs to do things, and you're just helping it do that.
Yeah, exactly.
And we arrive in said chamber. It is blue. Paintings on every single wall. And these paintings are of Sigmar, doing his great Sigmar best. These paintings, however, were almost all, without doubt, executed within the last 100 years. Meaning that all of them have got a very particular view of what Sigmar is. Number one, Sigmar has clearly neat hair. I mean, who'd have thought? Very neat hair. He also has a very strong, muscular build. He is tall, obviously, taller than all of the Electra counts around him in the few places where you can see those other Electra counts. And he is blonde, except in that one where he's got dark hair. Slightly different viewing of Sigmar. He also quite clearly knows how to use a hammer. And that Warhammer is being used over there to kill greenskins. There to hit a particularly large creature. No other way to put it. It looks like a dragon, but has an enormous body of an ogre and is this big. He's this big.
I'm going to go look at it. Does it Does it have like scales that come up to its eyes, like that one I saw in the rock?
It's,
A little bit, yeah.
you tell Leopold, but he can probably tell you.
Yeah, we can get to there in just a moment.
I'm telling you.
Just a bunch
Shame,
of boring pictures.
I've got an entertaining story I can show you.
Regardless of
Your
that
loss.
particular fact, that's a thing. He often, apparently, goes with a halo of light around his head because that's just how Sigmar works, right?
Standard true facts.
Yeah, true fact. It's also fair to say that the hammer comes with its own halo of light also, which is often depicted with a 12-sided halo, as in it's got a 12... What's a 12-sided shape again? A
Dodecahedron.
Dodecahedron, thank you. Dodecahedron around it, blazing with its own light, which is surprisingly standard across all of them. He also really doesn't seem to like skeletons very much because, you know, the insides of people, they're not cool. No. And he's really laying into a lot of the insides of people over there. By himself, not needing help from anybody else, because clearly that's what Sigmar
Is
does.
he laying into them or commanding them?
Oh no, he's laying into them. He also doesn't, at any point, and interestingly, wear a giant crown that may have looked like it may have once been worn by a Lord of Undeath. His crown is consistent, and all of them looking very much like just a small, simple, golden band.
More importantly, are there any other exits from this room? What are the windows like?
So, number one, the windows give you a grand view over the south of the city, which is nice, you suppose. It swoops down from the great rock that the palace is built on top of. And then right down there, you can see off in the distance.
How are the walls looking?
They look like thick walls.
No, the walls of the city. Can I see them?
At the far off distance, yep. Yep. There's no obvious
Still
trails.
standing?
Yeah.
Good.
The white walls still stand, assuming that's what the prophecy refers
Yeah.
I mean, there are
to.
holes in them, but they still stand.
Yeah, shh. That's the gates. That doesn't
Like
count,
that,
right?
like
Yeah.
there's always holes.
Yeah, there's
So-
always holes in the gates. Yeah, it's totally fine. And on the opposite wall, there is a single door that leads out, presumably for servants, which indeed, it turns out, it is exactly what it's for, because before you're even properly settled, a servant comes in and asks if you would like any refreshments, which, of course, he will fetch immediately from the Imperial kitchen, should that be required.
Can I do a lore art check to see how good these paintings are?
Do you have Lord of the Arts?
Yes, do.
Then yes.
I just want to see if they're a good enough quality for the level at which Princess
for it.
Yume should be put into a. It's a success.
Great.
That's all you get. Because I don't think you have that many advances in it.
I do not.
Then that's all you get. They appear to be, yes.
Good.
Nice.
This is an adequate room.
Sorry.
I was just saying this is an adequate room for your. Yeah.
This is adequate.
Your Imperial Highness.
This is adequate for
I will let
you know.
Lucas decide whether we should get refreshments or whether we're in such a state of mourning we should turn them down.
Well,
It's
more
also
like we're not staying here very long, therefore we do not need refreshments.
I think be awkward.
Lucas says,
Cheese. From
Lucas says, of course we don't want food. Get out of here. Get out. As he goes, so he turns his back. He's like,
He's just a servant.
I can't. Oh, my heart bleeds.
as a,
I'm being on the other side.
Gosh, Lucas.
I am not enjoying this.
You're doing very well.
So who are we here to actually speak to?
Wolfgang.
Wolfgang.
Right, so
Ideally.
that's who we need to transfer ourselves over to the second that they try to foist us off on somebody else.
Yes.
Right. We're in at least.
And we brought him a gift, right? So.
Oh, did we pick those up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, when we picked up those pies, could we have also sent a runner to?
Not strictly speaking a pie, but
Sure. Okay, that's true. Could we have sent a runner to the
Runner?
To
Rexport?
barge. A messenger.
A messenger.
you could go personally.
We don't have time to go to
No,
the
indeed. So who are you going to send? Who do you trust?
We got money.
Just like an urchin, and you pay
that-
them.
Yeah, you can do that, but there's
Schmiedhammer.
He's not. He's Middenheim.
Ah,
Different
fuck.
city.
Eric's moment ruined.
We're in Altar.
What's happening?
He's invented that.
Given
You
Rich on the
become me.
run, we probably shouldn't
Yeah.
send someone we don't know or trust.
Send to Middenheim for Smeedhammer
Get enough to go.
and ask him to check on the
Who
barge.
did he send to Midnight?
What we should do,
Libero.
when you're asking around for them, you should ask for Joseph as well from the Bear Belly.
Oh yeah.
Because if we find him, you could ask him to check on Greta.
Mm.
Do you trust him?
Yeah.
Wow.
He seems like a good person.
No, no.
What's that creature?
You're asking me?
Just pointing
Sigma.
to a painting.
What? That one? Skeleton. Yeah,
No,
skeleton
this
is.
big thing with the
It's a
body.
large creature. It has scales near its eyes.
How big?
Search.
Freaking
It's
huge.
really massive.
It's got scales. Like what's?
Has it got like 6
Is it like a
legs?
dragon?
No, it's got 4 legs and 2 arms.
It's got 4 legs and 2 arms.
Like a centaur.
Well,
It sort of looks like a dragon, but if a dragon was really ugly.
I mean,
And Sigmar
it
is
sounds like
lightning.
Skranarok, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like Skranarok. And we spoke before about in the cave. You saw something,
Yes.
and we spoke about the really big ones.
Yes, I think that looks like its head.
Yeah. Well, that yeah.
It was much bigger than this.
Pardon?
Bigger than that.
Bigger than that.
Oh yes, by maybe 4 times?
Yes.
4
Wow.
times as big?
You did not convey that sense of scale when you shared that story with us before.
Well, I told you that it was a massive eye that was as tall as me. I mean, how big did you think it was going to be? Did you think it would just have massive eyes?
Well, I
Just
mean,
massive eyes!
in
Like a
Massive
basilisk.
eyes,
in
buddy.
my defense,
Breathe.
I can't see what you're describing.
So it probably has quite large eyes based upon scale, anyway.
One would imagine so.
Door opens. As a gentleman comes in wearing a very tight uniform of the palace, and a big flare of white and a big ruff around his neck. Pair of spectacles, rather bald head, and incredibly curled toes on his black boots. As he comes in and he says, "Ah, yes, you have taken so long before getting here," says Lucas. Pardon? He says, "We have been waiting here for almost," he says, "well, I don't know how long. We have not even been offered toilet." No, we didn't need refreshment. Do you realise what we've seen today? Look! We demand to speak to the Crown Prince. Sorry. We demand to speak to the Crown Prince. He was a witness of the murders today. We will speak to him. About him. You know on what authority? Immediately. I'll see what I can do. He goes off. Lucas goes,
As soon as he leaves.
You're doing really well. You're doing really well.
I'm just expecting him to stop me at any moment.
Can I ask if you would like me to perform a divination in advance of these negotiations?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Perhaps on.
Toss your bones.
Yeah.
Lucas. Oh, I'm in such a funny mood.
Certainly. I will attempt divination
Maybe some of that brandy for Lucas?
for,
Oh, you've got brandy.
Do you want a bit?
Yeah, I'd really like a bit. Yeah.
as,
Medical though.
as per Her Imperial Highness, I'm going to perform a divination on Lucas.
Oh, nice.
Because last time you did it on me, it's not
Well, after that wasn't a divination. Yeah.
Nice.
Of it.
Reroll.
He's got a big special magic reroll. Sorry, holy reroll. Holy reroll.
So-
not
so-
magic.
So you're telling me my future is it's going to be blessed,
Indeed.
but I should pay very careful attention to tall, dark individuals. Right.
Yes.
He says,
Sure.
right, tall. Avoid the tall, dark individual. Avoid the in comes a tall, dark individual. As Lucas points, a very big knight comes in and says, "I've been sent to escort you," he says, "to His Imperial Highness." Lucas tries not to look shocked. Tries really hard not to look shocked, but actually fails. Because he did not expect this to occur. He was expecting some form of fight. some sort of, I'm going to have to stand up to someone. I'm going to have to, right. 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 This way. As Lucas looks round.
Yeah. Mirrors.
Tall and dark.
Yes, stay back, Lucas. You'll be told to stay out his way.
You're led down corridors. You pass by two very fine-looking ladies with dresses that are almost 5 feet wide each. They sit. They walk side by side, taking up the vast majority of the.
It's like the fringe.
Good Edinburgh-based comment there.
Elric, I don't care. Elric's elbowed them out.
Can't reach them. The dress is so wide.
Fireball is the only
I've got to stop. Prod them.
The fiery side.
The ladies see you coming, and the guide, let's call the knight that, the person who is taking you to your next place goes like that, as one of the ladies goes, "Oh, really?" and steps in behind the other so that there's a nice clear, and then just stops. Really, who are they? And says, and he ignores them as he goes by. Lucas ignores them too, as much as he possibly can, as he walks by too. You may.
Yep.
Everyone else.
Sure.
Blind priest.
I can smirk because I'm wearing my helmet.
I keep forgetting, like Leopold now has a conspicuously big Warhammer as well.
Yeah. It's good for, a good warrior priest to be carrying around his giant hammer.
We can vouch that you brought it with you. You didn't just steal it from the previous room. That's fine.
Eventually, we are taken to the good Crown Prince's chambers, where you are met by a gentleman on the outside who says, and Lucas immediately steps forward and says, yes? He says, His Imperial Highness, he says, is currently, well, it has been a very stressful day. We understand that, says Lucas. Do you not realize that we were there today? We witnessed everything he witnessed, and it is imperative, before he forgets, he says, that we understand what he saw as a witness of such caliber. There is no doubt that his testimony will be far more important than any of the other pissant little idiots who were in that chamber and couldn't even defend themselves, unlike His Imperial Highness. Says, oh. And the door opens up. Oh, no, send him in. Send him in. Pardon, sir? And he goes off and he says, but, he says, oh, no. I definitely saw things, he says. And I definitely saw things. And he looks at, and smiles with his incredibly weak chin, his big moustache.
Smile, Umi, smile.
Overcome it.
He's your boyfriend now. Katarina's had to turn him down.
I'll take my scarf down.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Do yourself a
Strudels.
nice wee charm test.
Is that the?
Yeah,
It's
he's only
not.
got eyes for strudels.
Is he attracted to girl elf?
Yeah, sure. Why not? He's never really.
Well, I got 7 successes.
He probably writes fan fiction.
I've
about
actually
girls'
got
lives.
better than my attractive because I can do no fewer than 7 successes.
Some successes, sweet. As as Lucas, seeing them, goes, can we hurry up? We've got to get back to our apple strudel. What? Is it fun? Step in immediately. Go on, Linus. And he says, they will be let in immediately. And it's send for creep.
Good shout.
And
No need. Watson in the pocket.
I sell talent.
Raw sexual.
I just wanted clarity. Is the cream for the elf with the strudel?
It's for everybody. Non-discriminate cream.
Oddly hot.
It's got a spicy.
It's
Let's
custard.
move on swiftly before we get lost in this.
It's jizz. It's jizz. I have a pocket full of jizz.
Oh man,
It's in my trappings.
I've written it down.
it's real.
Oh no, I'm doing Dan.
He, I knew that. He says, "Oh, do come in." He says, "Do come in. We've had a bit of a mare of a day." He says, "Frightfully sorry." He says, "I admit I'm a bit of a bait at the moment." He goes, I was told by Nanny," he says, "that I wasn't supposed to receive guests, but," he says, I think it would be most... sorry, who are you?" As Lucas goes, "I would like to present Her Imperial Highness," says, "Princess Ume of Nippon." "Oh,
She probably will do like a small curtsy, right?
no,
No.
no, no.
What? Finger guns.
Fair enough. Fair
No.
enough. I will
You've
not
got
do
the
it.
etiquette,
Cultural.
you know.
Okay, fair
No. You would just...
Yes.
Oh, Imperial Majesty. Oh. You may have got all the successes, but she got the little hearts in his eyes.
Oh.
I didn't realise there was another one. He says, "Do you come in?" He says, and he turns around, "The porcelain!" He says, oh, takes a cushion, dusts it off. "Oh, that one's for you." He says, "It's across from me." And sits down. "Oh, you've got quite the party of bloody wanderers." He says, "Are they players? Are they going to be doing a play for us, Your Imperial Majesty, Mom?"
Do you still have your flute?
Oh, God. Yes, I do. Yes.
Look at Lucas like.
Lucas says, "Your Imperial Highness, Her Imperial Highness is here to ask you some questions about what you saw today." Oh, I know. Dashed annoying, wasn't it? He says, "Did you see? People were just, so rude. It could have been so much nicer, couldn't they? Did you think the same?"
Yes.
Oh. Such a shame I didn't have to marry that silly girl, though. I can feel the heat.
Yeah.
Seaver's told me to do it.
Assassin! Don't delay!
He said to kill anyone who was bad. This boy was bad.
Yes, Your Royal Highness. I'm sure the Empire is very happy that you are safe and sound.
Well, of course. He says, "No one can endanger me. I'm going to be emperor." "Maybe you could be an empress." He says, you said you bought,
Yes, we.
Servants have said, "I have the porcelain." "Oh, bring it in, put it down on the table." Says, "What do your player going to play?" "I like the big one without his eyes." He says, is he playing the part of the blind seer?"
Well, he is a High Father of Sigmar.
"Oh, of course he is." Ooh.
He tells the most wonderful stories about Sigmar. Perhaps once we have finished our conversation, he can recount one of those for us.
Oh, all right. So where's the pudding?
She will nod at someone to get it out, I guess.
Who's got the strudel?
Who's going to whip their strudel out?
You left it in the cab.
Who sat on it? Couldn't see it. I think the Lord Doctor had the strudel.
Yeah, no, it's right here.
Suggestively.
No, sorry.
It's a coquettish strudel.
That is a
Will you cut it, please? Cut it, please. As one of the servants comes over and cuts it into little bits, and he gets himself a little fork. Cream, please. Cream's poured on. Oh, this is... actually, given everything that happened, this has to be quite a good day. He says,
horrible if I heated up the cream so much that it burnt them.
Yes. That would be exactly the kind of thing.
But counterproductive.
He would
I don't know,
whine.
that might aggravate him, and I believe I was told to aggravate everybody.
It's so very good.
Your Royal Highness, do you know who else was? Do you remember who else was there? What happened? I must admit, I was so
Overwhelmed.
swept. Yes. But I must find out what happened. So
You're
anything you
quite
could,
girly, aren't you?
anything you could do to help me would be wonderful.
Oh, right. So, my uncle was there. He was in his chair, very sad. Who'd have thought? I didn't get to talk to him though. Very upset about that. But Ma said I'll maybe get to talk to him next time.
He
Did
is
you
a
not
very
see
big
him?
Man. Yes, I did see him.
Oh, that beastly man, the one with the gingery beard. He was there. You know, the Grand Duke man. The one that was there. You know, the sire of the little witch that died. Says, from what I hear, she absolutely deserved it. Says, apparently she's, you know, she's some form of cultist.
And who did you hear that from?
Oh, that was my man. Said, some form of cultist. Who would have thought?
And is that the man who was at the door?
Says, oh, no. It's my man from downstairs. He tells me about everything that happens out on the streets of Altdorf, what they're saying. And they are telling me all sorts of things about her. Wish I'd known about it before I'd agreed to the whole thing. Apparently, down in the streets, they're saying that she actually mated with wolves most nights, which I didn't think was fair. You know, she wrote me a very nice letter. A very nice letter. Said she was looking forward to getting married and the whole thing. It was very nice. I even spoke to her once beforehand. I'll admit it put me off the whole affair. She was a bit bossy.
Elric's like holding Eleanor. She's literally just now like gripping her hand like around yours, like
She's vibrating.
as hard as anyone has ever gripped their own hand before.
Cool times.
And did you receive some kind of briefing before you went in? Were you told what the proceedings were going to be like? We're just trying to figure out.
Ludi came in and he told me that I should be polite.
I see. Was there like a specific?
Do you know
phrase?
Ludi?
No, I do not.
Oh, Ludi's marvellous. Ludi is marvellous. He's my uncle's champion. That means
I
that there is nobody in the Empire that he couldn't chop the head off of. Just imagine that. No one. So if he saw someone that he didn't like, he could just say, oh, kill him, and he would. Just like that. I'm going to be able to do that one day. I'll be able to just kill anyone I want. And they won't be able to stop me.
I'm reasonably confident he did it.
Can we stop it now?
I'll be holding us all back.
Yeah, the bright wizard holding everyone back.
And other than telling you to be polite, which is ridiculous because you seem lovely. Did he say anything else? Did he mention anything about the other parties or who ensured your safety before we went in?
Ensured my safety? Why? He says, I'm there, Sigma. I can't be killed.
Well, of course, but
He says, I have Sigma's blood in my veins. I can't be killed.
you know how they worry. They must have
So
said
that's because they're fools. You must realize, as an imperial majesty, that we're divine.
Oh, my inside is like, oh my god, is that how I sound?
Is there anyone else in the room with us, or is
You've
it
got a better chin.
It's two servants
right?
sitting at the back, and all of you.
Yeah.
There's no
Just two
guards.
servants. No guards at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
You've been granted access.
It's the perfect time to stab him.
We did want to slap him, didn't we?
No, our Ulrich wanted to slap the shit out of him. Really did.
And do you know who organized the whole thing? Who invited the guests? Who?
No. He says, I mean, I know who organised the whole wedding. He says, that was my uncle.
Of course.
But he must have had people to do the work for him because he just
Well, he just told.
orders.
He just told that silly fool Volkmar to do it. And Volkmar, of course, did it because he's just a snooty little shit. He just does whatever my uncle says.
That's the first genuine nod that was made in the book.
I actually think I might hate him. He's so bossy and he thinks he's so clever. And he's constantly, talking like he knows things.
Of course.
Secret things. And he won't tell me the secrets. Just wait till I'm emperor. Then he'll tell me the secrets.
I see.
Yes, you're so pretty.
And in your opinion, do you know who did it? Do you have
Who
any-
did what?
Well, all the killings and things? Who started the whole
Oh, you mean
dreadful thing?
the brouhaha?
Yes.
I was told that it was the wolves.
I see.
Awful creatures. The northern killers, the barbarians. They're the people that came down and attacked Kislev. Do you know that? If it wasn't Magnus the Pious, they would probably still be in the north. I mean, he made some sort of foolish decision about taking them in or something. That's what I think.
Well, he does say that.
I just think we did just eradicate them. That would probably be better. I mean, did you see their beards? So many beards. Didn't understand moustaches are better. I mean, you can't see their chins.
We would be doing the Empire a good dude, I think.
When will
For
we
the
ever
great-
get this close again?
It's for the greater good.
Greater good.
We will take a glance at Lucas and
Lucas goes,
I think we should finish our apple strudel and go because I don't think
You
he's.
could ask him what he saw, like
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
And was there anything unusual?
what in the murder.
Before the murder.
Flattery.
Yeah.
Played it. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You're
what
so
they
smart.
said.
You're so clever.
You've got such a chin.
Do it, Umit.
well, you do have a wonderful
Stroke his
mustache.
mustache.
Yeah.
he says, I have been working on my moustache ever since I could first grow one. I've never cut it once.
Oh.
Well, it is wonderful.
Thank you. He says, it has been, I think it is wrong to cut one's moustache. Although Mama likes to prefer the moustaches. I mean, like, I've got two. I mean, what's that about? I don't have moustaches. I have a moustache.
Barely got one.
Of course.
Just to go back to the, I'm not used to seeing so much blood. I
Oh.
just can't seem to get it out of my head. But I think maybe hearing what other people saw would really help me feel a little better. I don't know. Did you see anything unusual or anything of note?
Well, I will admit, I had been wishing her dead. And that happened. And it got me worried that possibly I might be a wizard. That was unusual.
Although we wouldn't want that. Because then you couldn't be emperor.
Uncle said that. You should never show that one is a wizard, because then you can't be emperor. But today, she just died, just like that. I was really thinking about it.
Has it happened before? That you've really thought of something and it came true?
I once told Mama that I didn't want to go to bed, and she was called away, and I got to stay up.
Well, there you go. Perhaps there is something in it. We'll keep it between us, though.
Yes, it'll be our secret. She's looking around the room. Our secret. Says, looking around the room. Well, they don't matter.
But I mean, speaking of wizards, isn't that what happened to your uncle's brother, right?
No, that's my uncle.
Oh, yes.
They're both his uncle.
I get so confused. I'm so sorry.
No, that's just my uncle. And he's a very stern figure. He's always telling me what's what and what isn't what, and I get so confused about all the different whats, if I'm honest. He's a very whatty person.
Oh.
His uncle.
Yeah. I mean, so. So another thing first. So when you mentioned that your uncle told WFRP about the wedding, was it the wizard one?
The wizard one. Oh, don't say that out loud.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He doesn't like it.
Well, what should I call him?
His title,
Did
Grey Guardian.
No. I just call him Uncle, and it doesn't upset him. I mean, you could call him Uncle too. We'd only have to get married.
Wow.
You know, he says, I'm not actually betrothed to anyone now because I wished her away and she went away.
Did you
Which is the way it should be.
did you speak to your uncle about that wish? Did he know?
No, he wanted me to marry her. He set the whole thing bloody up. It was his idea. I'm not at all impressed, if I'm honest. Ridiculous. I didn't like it, but I was quite surprised when I met her. She was all over me. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, she was all over me. She was quite bossy. I'm telling you, she would have bloody ridden me right in that very spot. You're lucky it didn't happen, Mom.
She'll look
You're
scandalized.
lucky because then I wouldn't be prepared for you now. but I am still pure for you.
She'll giggle, I guess.
You're not weeping tears.
That would be a time to deploy your fans. You can go
Oh yes.
behind it.
I'm so grossed out. I don't even know if there's anything else.
I'm out of here. I'm done. Nice meeting you. Let's go.
It's just penis.
And that'll really help.
I think it will.
If he loses more blood from his brain, he's going to be unable to speak.
He might just blab something. I need to add to my pocket. I'm collecting.
Did anyone understand which uncle set the wedding
No,
up?
and I think
Yes,
No,
it's pretty
it-
clear he hadn't spoken to the emperor for ages, so
Oh,
it's very
it
much
must
yeah.
be
Yeah.
the other uncle.
Yeah.
So stern uncle set up the wedding. Got it. That's useful information.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your Imperial
could
Highness, may I ask a
Folkmar
question?
corroborate that?
It goes, who is she speaking to?
Oh, I think it's me.
Oh, then you better talk to her. Is she your personal bodyguard?
Yes.
Does she guard your body?
You can think what you like.
Oh.
My knuckles go white on the hilt of my sword. Sorry, my axe. Was there anybody
In the
missing
maze.
who should have been there?
Yes. Was there anyone rude enough not to show to your engagement?
I don't know. I didn't see many of them. There was just so much shouting. It was so loud. Didn't you think they were a bit too loud? I actually asked them to, be a bit quieter, but they just didn't. And then I got pulled away, which was most rude. They almost knocked me over.
Yes.
They're bloody barbarians. That's what they are.
Who was it? Was it a
This big
samurai,
bearded
or-
fellow. He just barged right by.
Oh.
I see.
Man, bloody glad that he's not going to be a member of my family.
Is that right?
Boris.
No, I know, but is that right? Did Boris do that? Just
Just to Katarina.
from my end. Sorry, I wasn't there.
Well, when he left, he left in a hurry, didn't he? Understandably.
He moved forward and then.
Yeah.
So
I
probably.
mean, he probably was just standing there.
Dithering.
yeah.
Maybe like he was right in front of our Ulrich, right?
Yeah.
So did he see what happened to our
I
Ulrich?
don't think
Kill
he
him?
got that far in, right?
Yeah, no, Auroric was about to go and slap him.
Yeah.
Auroric goes right by him.
I thought they
Yeah.
were like the two of them were at the front, like they
Yeah, and
typically-
he was like,
Yeah.
just because
Oh.
he was.
It's okay. He's giggling to himself.
Don't graze just memories.
Elric nods.
Yeah.
We'll both also nods.
So the one who goes to court goes, no.
We learned some other things about magic, but that's like a conversation for now. If it would change someone's mind, it would probably be sick. Anyway, Marcus.
Because you're dirty. You're dirty. He's so clean, you're
I imagine he would have been whisked right to a bath.
I know, but like, then at least like if he thinks he wasn't covered in blood, then we know that he's been tampered with, right?
I mean, we don't know that he was covered in blood, so what we saw was that one of his guards jumped on top of him immediately as soon as problem
okay.
started.
Mhm.
So because we saw that, all of us. So
Oh, but he didn't say that.
He didn't.
No, he
Yeah.
didn't. He said
got
that
knocked
he was
over.
still standing when Boris pushed past him, which is
Mhm.
not true.
yeah,
So he did lie.
yeah.
Or he's had his memory.
Yeah.
Or his
Screwed with. So,
Yeah.
sure.
I'm so glad you're okay though. I thought I saw you being pushed to the ground at the start. Are you okay?
No, I was most strident. I slapped the man in the face for being too close to me.
My mistake.
He says, and he went right down, and you know why he went down?
Sigma.
Because I'm an heir of Sigma.
Of course.
He says,
So-
well, obviously that's why that happened.
Mm.
Boop,
And
just
that's
like
what I
that.
must have
You know,
seen.
he was
Yeah.
lucky that I wasn't emperor.
Of course.
I'd have just had his head chopped off rather than slapping him.
Yes, of course.
Wouldn't you like to know someone that was that powerful?
I think I've aged like 10 years.
That the ick will do that to you. Yeah.
Well,
Have you seen this one called today?
yeah.
Get rid of that.
Well, yeah, that's a good
But
question.
yeah, no.
And perhaps he could then direct us to the person who did the arrangements for the wedding.
Yes.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Yes, sir. I require advice. He says.
No, because he's seen us. make
And
it
he goes,
I see.
sir, I would suggest that you finish your strudel. Thank you. I finished it. Thank you for the advice.
well, have you seen your good luck?
He's like 27.
Yeah, he's like
Fine,
27.
okay, I was seeing like a 40s.
You're older than all of us.
Yeah, older than all of
This
us.
guy's the
Except for
worst.
Adam anyway.
Add another layer of creepy because she's like 10 years younger. Let's not talk about
Yeah,
it.
fine. Awful.
Have you seen your uncle today? He must be awfully busy.
I never see my uncle ever because you know he's the emperor
The other one.
and he's very divine and busy.
No, the stern one
Oh,
that you were
oh,
mentioning.
you mean my uncle?
You meant his uncle.
Right. Well, yeah, he gave me a talking to,
Oh,
which is why I'm very happy that you brought in the strudel. Did he send you? Oh, he's so clever sometimes. He knows that I need a new bride. That's what it is, isn't it? That's what it... And you hear, no, it's not.
Ah,
From the door.
fuck.
The loophole to keep senses, he hears 7 sphincters tighten.
Fireball, sexual power, open the sky.
Pockages!
Second strudel!
I've never been so scared in my life.
As he turns round, and it seems that you're not the only person who ate sphincters. Tightened. As turns out, Uncle? And he says, yes, I think I can handle the questions from here. And he looks over and he says, Princess Umi, so good to see that you survived that terrible incident at the embassy. He says, I can imagine that your mother was very, very concerned for your well-being.
yes. Well, thankfully we were reunited not so long ago.
He is a man in his, you would guess, 20s, 30s, 40s. It's difficult to pin down.
Interesting.
His hair is darkish, almost going a bit grey, but not quite. His eyes are grey, or they blue, or they grey, or they something else. He doesn't wear a grey magisterial outfit. Indeed, he's dressed for court, but he is dressed in black and white.
Is he the same guy that Alana had the argument with in the halls of the Grey College when I was in disguise?
Yes.
Yes, you fucking dancer.
Well done.
He didn't know I was there.
Excuse me.
No.
You're fucking dancer. Always a good one to deploy. He wasn't
That
dancing.
felt-
It's worth to
That
say.
felt ding-worthy to me. I'm just saying.
She didn't do anything to deserve it, bar deploy memory.
And
Which
from
is
my
pretty
perspective,
good.
that's pretty fucking awesome.
Okay, 5 XP. Yep, totally. As he clutches his hands together, and you can't decide whether his nose is bulbous or pointy, and then you realize you're looking. Almost like that's the intention. Almost like your eyes are being drawn to things, and you feel like you're being played, and he's done nothing. Literally nothing. As he looks at you and says, Your Imperial Highness, I think it's time for you to return to the playroom.
Yes, Uncle.
He
Elric,
says-
sorry to
Yep.
play, but since he walked in, Elric's on high fucking alert.
That'll be the
Looking
sphincter
for
type.
any gathering of energy. or
Yep,
power.
sounds good.
What's your visions?
He seems mundane. Wow.
That's terrifying.
As he says, Your Imperial Highness, I think it would be better if you were taken to more salubrious conditions. This is, he says, the room of a child.
Oh, cool.
He says, go to your room. I'll see you later.
Bless you.
Welcome.
And he goes off. So unfair. Uncle always takes away from my toys. As he says, let's take you somewhere a little more. He says, a little less this. Come this way. I trust you want your friends to come with you.
Yes.
Very bad business, he says. Today,
Indeed.
let's see if we can clear it up for you. Next time on LAWhammer.